We're just going to lift off here, folks. Chris and Paola,
Hello.
the founders of A Fairfield Minute. Thank you for coming to our HQ.
Thanks for having us, guys.
I know
And lady.
we've been trying to have you guys here for a while. We met in the beginning of the summer. We were talking about it earlier, and I think when we met you guys, we already were like, we gotta hang out with them. We gotta.
Yeah. It was like
Just
an
always-
instant.
Yeah.
Well, we have our common friend Chuck,
Oh my God.
uncommonly driven, who kind of connected us.
Yes.
He like one day just sent me like I think a group text and was like,
Mm-hmm.
Mike, Chris, Mike.
Yes. You guys know this out there in Downtime land. We talk about your past, how you guys, got to be Chris and Paola, and then Chris and Paola together, and then how In A Fairfield Minute came up, and then what's kind of next for you guys. So, I mean, you guys take it away, and the convo will go. We are back for The Dream Is Free. I am Mike Theophil. I usually don't say my actual full name, so I don't know why I said it there. But then we got Anthony Materiello over there.
Normally doesn't say my full name either.
Yeah. Because it's funny, I'm not going to say their full names because I'm going to introduce them as Chris and Paola.
Hello.
The founders of In A Fairfield Minute. Guys, thank you for coming to our HQ.
Thanks for having us, guys.
I know
Fantastic.
And lady.
we've been trying to have you guys here for a while. We met in the beginning of the summer. We were talking about it earlier, and I think when we met you guys, we already were like, we gotta hang out with them. We gotta.
Yeah. It was like
Just
an
always-
instant.
Yeah.
Well, we have our common friend Chuck,
Oh my God.
uncommonly driven, who kind of connected us.
Yes.
He like one day just sent me like I think a group text and was like,
Mm-hmm.
Mike, Chris, Mike,
Yes.
be friends.
Yeah.
And the
Literally.
rest is history.
Literally.
He tends to do that. I love that though.
No, yeah. He told us about your newspaper and all that stuff, and we'll get into all that. But on this show, you guys know this out there in Downtime land. We talk about your past, how you guys, got to be Chris and Paola, and then Chris and Paola together, and then how In A Fairfield Minute came up, and then what's kind of next for you guys. So, I mean, you guys take it away, and the convo will go.
Yeah.
You could
All right.
start,
Right
Chris,
on.
maybe if you want.
Yeah. So I come from working with just a lot of the last 10 years. I've been doing a lot of business development for startups, which is cool. Had a lot of fun. I worked with like companies like Groupon, and I mean just a bunch of different types of startups out of.
And even before that, though, to be honest, like, where are you from?
Where am I from?
The people need to know.
Life.
I'm from Fairfield.
Yeah.
No, I'm from Fairfield, Connecticut. Born and raised.
How was
But,
that?
Huh?
How was that?
Interesting. I
Yeah.
grew up in military housing,
Okay.
which no longer exists in Fairfield.
Where was that? On Reef Road?
On Reef Road,
Right, yeah.
Quincy Street and Jarvis Court.
Yes.
So I believe in 1978, before I was even born, I was born in 79, the Army acquired 2 streets in Fairfield, Connecticut for whatever reason. And my father, who was career military, they were like,
Cool.
Sergeant Benedetto, do you want to, be able to go to Fairfield?
And he's not from here, obviously. He's
My dad grew up in Bridgeport on
okay,
the north
cool.
end.
So
Yeah.
so he's from the area.
Yeah, he was active, non-active with the National Guard. So he was in the Army as well as the National Guard.
Cool.
So he did traveling himself, but we didn't have to go anywhere, which
Nice.
is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's like ideal.
Absolutely,
Right
ideal,
for a
Yeah.
military guy.
Especially
it's
to
like,
be like, okay, you can live in Fairfield.
yeah, hell yeah,
Could be worse places to live in.
yeah, definitely.
So no, I was able to fortunately grow up into Fairfield.
Nice.
Which is really awesome.
Yeah,
So when-
it's the best. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean-
it's one of the best places. I don't know other places that
Fairfield-
well, but
people who grow up here, like it's Fairfield from like when I was a kid, and TJ and I talked about this on his podcast as
Yeah.
well. So like growing up in Fairfield in like the 80s versus present day, it was 2 different towns.
Yeah.
I mean, when I grew up there was 20,000 people.
yeah,
If that.
it's more small town.
Very small. I
Yeah.
mean, everyone's like, how it would be like, how was Fairfield growing up there? And the only thing I could think of was like, it's kind of like Happy Days.
Yeah, it was like literally.
Literally Happy
You
Days.
could be
like,
out till 9, 10 at night as a kid in middle or like 6th grade, 5th grade
Yeah.
with your friends biking, and it's okay.
It was, I mean,
it's safe.
I come from like that little pocket generation where I was kind of like brought up like it was the 1950s, and then my generation was on the cusp of technology. So I got the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Which was pretty cool. But yeah, no, Fairfield's a great town. I mean, we live there now. Obviously, our kids are in the
Yeah.
school system.
And I love how it's like it tries to maintain that community that that small town feel
Yeah.
that you grew up with. You know,
Yeah,
I feel like
I mean,
I
it
still
definitely
feel
has
it,
that.
And I'm not
I
from
love
around
this.
here
I love
originally.
Fairfield. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a great town, and I'm grateful that I got to grow up there because,
Yeah.
you know, I got a fantastic education.
Right.
You know, when I grew up, it was like literally like so hokey, right? Like when the lights came on outside, all the moms would be yelling outside for the kids to come
Yeah.
in, and
Yep.
you know, there was no really, there wasn't like nowadays, but like I couldn't let my 10-year-old walk to
No,
school
no.
without someone probably calling the cops on me.
Yeah.
Whereas like I think we did what we wanted when we were 10 years old, just roaming around Fairfield. And,
Yeah.
You know, and what have you.
Of course.
So
what happened in high school? Where'd you go? You know,
Yeah, so
out of
when
high school,
my,
obviously Fairfield High.
So my freshman year was the first year, I think that was 1992 or 1993. We
remembers,
went to
like,
one school.
everything. You remember everything, like
Yeah.
down to the date, what you were wearing, and literally
know.
everything. Continue.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
No, really, like, so, yeah, we went to one school. So that was the first time, because before that, like, my siblings are a lot older than I am. They went to Ludlow. And then at that point, everyone went to Ward.
Wow.
Yeah. And, you know, growing up in Fairfield was, you know, was interesting. We definitely had our share of getting ourselves in trouble.
Right.
It's kind of fun because I'll see some cops now as an adult that, you know, either like pulled me over for, you know, skateboard or whatever, you know,
Yeah.
like we were skateboarding or doing whatever, you know, they're like, oh my God, like you have children and you're married and you're like a productive member of society. I am, see, you know.
I knew it would happen.
Exactly. No, really. So it's pretty funny. But yeah, no, went to high school there. You know, me and my friends were just kids writing graffiti, skateboarding, getting into as much trouble as possible and driving my parents
Crazy.
totally insane. Yeah.
Where'd you go to college?
So I didn't go to like a traditional 4-year. I went to Housatonic in Norwalk.
Shout out Housatonic. I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took a
To
couple
start.
of courses as well. I think at one point at Fairfield University as well as Sacred Heart, but like continuing ed stuff. But I never finished college. I'm a people person, man.
Yeah.
Like I've been in business development my entire life. I'm very good at
Yeah.
I enjoy talking with people and telling stories. And
How'd you
that's-
transition into your career then? Like how'd you?
So I come from the restaurant. It's like we could be here all day.
I mean, that's what we're here for.
All right. Well, I started in the restaurant business in 1995, and with
Your family or you?
No, just me.
Oh, cool.
I worked at Friendly's on Black Rock Turnpike,
Oh.
which is I think Einstein Bagels now.
Wait,
or
wait.
something.
Oh, on Black Rock. No,
On Black-
no. I
yeah.
was gonna say the one in Westport is the one.
No,
Like
yeah.
you know Southport, Westport borderline. I used
Not
to go
that.
to
I
when
remember
was a
that one
kid.
too. I worked there too, actually. Believe it or not.
That's
yeah.
funny.
But that was my first waiting job. My friend Aaron Hagel from I grew up with in high school. He got me the job there, and I kind of worked there in various restaurants.
The industry, by the way, Tony.
It seems to be a constant here.
Yeah, I mean,
it really does.
I always talk about the industry. I call it the industry.
Yeah.
They make fun of me. It shaped me. You work hard. You learn how to, you learn a lot. You
I
grow
think
a lot.
everyone should work in the restaurant business before they even go into college. Like,
Yes.
The
you
salon
learn.
Linda
business,
said that too
Yes.
from Best of Norwalk. She was on
Yeah.
here. She said the
Yeah.
same exact thing, literally.
Yeah, oh my God, absolutely. I learned so much, like, just being able to manage people, whether
Yeah.
they're happy, they're angry. You learn work ethic. You understand, like, you got to put the work in, and especially with waiting tables or bartending, like it's a hustle.
Yeah.
And if you suck at what you do, you're not gonna get tips, right? So you
Yeah.
just have to learn that. And also, like, I have severe ADHD, so for me, I could manage like a million different things in my
Yeah.
head with no problem. And I was fortunate enough, like, with waiting tables or even bartending, like that was a perfect fit for me because I just had my mind on so many different things. And
Yeah.
when you're working a section, you need
Vodka
to know whether
soda,
or not.
Bud Light, wings for
Right.
table 42.
And then you have someone asking, like, can I have the pink flamingo on fire? And you're
Yeah.
like,
Oh
you
my
can
God.
have Jack Daniels and Coke.
Yeah. That was one of my go-to
Right.
things too. If I didn't know how to make a drink, I'd be like, oh yeah, we don't
That's
have. We
such a
don't care
turning
to-
21 thing. Like, I worked in college bars in the early 2000s, and anytime anyone turned 21, everyone
was like-
asked like the random, they're
Yeah.
you're like,
Dude.
this isn't the place that you want.
Yeah. Here's a couple shots. Just to get
Exactly,
you there
yeah.
quick.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just get an Italian. What do you call it? A
Long Island.
iced tea.
Yeah.
You'll be good.
You'll be good to go.
Started there.
You'll be more
Yeah.
than good. We'll be dragging you out of here.
Yeah.
That too.
But those are all drinks, right? When you turn 21, that you just like. I think I went through a phase of like drink. I think I drink on my 21st birthday. I drank so much Long Island iced tea. I like passed out on the beach in Fairfield and Penfield.
I mean,
Nice. Sounds
Long
awesome.
Island, Long
Actually,
Island.
I know I did.
How are ya?
I
Did
woke
you
up
wake
on the
with your
beach and I was
clothes
like,
on?
what am
I
I
hope
doing?
Did you wake up with your clothes on?
No, my
Yes.
clothes was on. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank God.
That's good.
I don't think there's a huge market for fat white dudes on the beach, so I'm good.
Um,
No, so I started in the restaurant business, and then from there, and I had various. I worked for the town for all through high school. I was a camp counselor, parking attendant. I was fortunate. My brother at the time worked for the town, so he was able to help get
Like
me
hook you
in
up.
there.
Yeah,
hook me
nice.
up and get me
It's tough to get
interviews.
one of
It
those
is.
jobs,
If you don't,
honestly.
it's hard to get because
Any job, really, but
yeah.
honestly,
But those were fun jobs. Like,
yeah.
Being a parking attendant or a camp counselor was like, it was just chill.
Yeah,
It
you're
was
stealing
an ideal
money,
summer job as
basically,
a
yeah.
kid,
Like literally, yeah.
I even think I worked in the snack bar at Penfield at one point.
Wow.
Oh God.
I've had various jobs
Yeah.
in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Which all kind of goes again with ADHD. You just don't.
You can never once you're done with something, you got to go to the next thing. You always have to go to the
and that's
next
why
eventually.
I end up from there. My friend Gary Jeanfaver hooked me up with a job at Naughty Dolphin, and I wound up being there for.
Love that place.
Good.
To this day, I still will fill in. Like I could call Greg or text Greg or Scott and be like, "Hey, you guys need any help?" And they're always gracious enough to
Dude, they're so
hook
good.
me up.
How good?
They're just
and
good people.
And likewise, they're great people, and we're even able to, even then they'll hit me up and be like, "Hey, we need help. Do you mind popping in?" And we still have a great relationship, and they mentored me through like the pizza business,
Cool.
and all that stuff as well. So I kind of stayed within that and
In the pizza world,
in the pizza world for a
I consider
long time.
myself a pizza prince. My stepfather owned a pizza place for 28 years in
Yeah,
Stanford.
I would say that I'm
I didn't know
a
that.
pizza connoisseur.
There we go.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
think my LinkedIn profile says I'm a. What is it? Like a pizza, coffee, and ice cream connoisseur?
We need to have him on Hidden Gems with you when we
Yeah.
do pizza.
Let's do it, man.
Because Tony's a huge New York guy. He hates Connecticut, I think, at sometimes.
I do not hate
No,
Connecticut.
but come on. I have video footage of him at the train station, and it's like the state of Connecticut sign at
Yeah.
the train station, and Tony's like, state of trash. Literally. And look at that evil gremlin.
Here's the thing with Connecticut. I think people who have grew up here, it's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
Right? It's a hard state to live in for various reasons.
Yeah.
But the only thing we have is pizza. Like that's literally what we have. I would argue,
hear him?
Tony, that we have the best pizza in the entire country.
Many people from Connecticut think that. That's fine.
Yeah,
And I'm a
you
pizza
hear how he says
purist.
that?
I judge pizza strictly off of like a cheese pizza.
So do I. Oh, I hate, I remember doing my undergrad at SHU. Everyone's like, I go to Frank Pepe's,
Yeah.
get the clam pie. And I'm just like,
Right?
no,
Yeah.
I don't want the clam pie.
I don't,
I don't want I want a cheese pizza, and I want it to be delicious. And Frank Pepe's, quite frankly, is not delicious.
Well, here's the thing, though. Like, people are like, sex is like pizza. Even bad sex is good, or even
Right.
bad pizza. No,
No,
that's
no,
actually
no.
not true.
Disagree.
I've had
Right.
plenty of bad pizza.
Yeah.
In fact,
Yeah.
it's more
Yeah.
disappointing, I think, because you're expecting good pizza,
Yeah.
and then it's bad.
Yeah,
and
no,
it's-
totally. I mean, Paola is like my arch nemesis
Polar
when it comes to
opposite.
pizza because she likes all like the fancy, like bullshit toppings with
yeah,
the
no.
fucking
Fancy
prosciutto
bullshit.
on
It's
top with the
delicious.
this and the that, and I'm like, dude,
Can't do it.
Get me. I want.
I mean,
I like flavor.
I do enjoy a good
Sausage and cherry pepper.
sausage and
All
cherry
all day
pepper.
long.
is
Yeah,
fine.
I'll eat
that's
that.
good.
I'm just
That's
saying though, if I
delightful.
am trying pizza for the first
Oh,
time,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
either going to be a large cheese or it's going to be just sauce, and I want to know how it goes,
Yeah.
right? Because like old school, especially in Connecticut, like if you ordered just like a regular large pie, like you're getting a pizza just with red sauce.
Mm-hmm.
It's you're not going to get a large cheese like you would expect. In fact, the random side note that's only a Fairfield County thing is ordering a large scamotes.
What's
When
that?
I was a little kid, my family used to just order large scamotes. Scamotes is a specific type of cheese. It's more of a smokier cheese. But I've never heard anyone or seen anyone talk about it other than in Fairfield County.
Wow.
Yeah.
Scamotes.
Scamotes.
And some places still do it. There's
Tony looks like a scamotes.
I like
Well,
smoky
you go
cheese.
to parties, right?
Yeah,
Or
they
do
don't. I
would
don't think they
have
do
it?
scamotes, but
that other place, Salerno's.
Salerno's in Stratford, they do. They'll do a scamote. They call it like the number 42 or something like that. And
man.
then Stratford Pizza Co. They also have their version that they have. They call it the large scamotes.
Cool. We'll definitely be trying
Yeah.
Yeah.
the scamotes.
But my favorite
honestly.
type of pizza, honestly, would be like a large scamotes with garlic. I'll eat that shit all day long.
Pizza's just the best.
It is. I'm getting
It is.
hungry
I'm
over
getting
here.
hungry
I
right now.
I love pizza.
Yeah.
Like
I can have it every day.
Honestly.
Really?
Really?
Absolutely.
I think we had maybe like a 7-day span where we did have it every
It
day.
was
to be
ridiculous.
honest.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a little exaggerated, but
I
it
don't
was
think
close.
so.
It was definitely
we
close.
did like Beverly's, Colony, Naughty Dolphin. I think we did Fairfield Pizza, Goodfellas, Crossroads.
You just throwing out all the pizza places.
No, we did do this, dude.
Where did you try Pepe's? Did you try Pepe's in New Haven?
He
or
tried it
Fairfield?
multiple
Both.
times.
Pepe's is. I mean, that's
He didn't
obviously.
try it. He tried it first
New
of all.
Haven
I tried
is
it in Fairfield
where it's
first,
at, right?
And he
then
tried the
people were
second
like,
time-
"You gotta go to the New
problem-
Haven
well,
one."
He didn't.
Well,
But you
the
didn't.
oven.
Correct.
It's
The
the oven.
Fairfield
Which I can
with
get.
pizza, like it's always. I mean, anything you're baking comes down to ovens.
Right.
Right. So like,
But he didn't even. He waited. It was like he got it. Like he got to eat it so late, and then it was recooked, reheated.
yeah.
We did it for the pizza
How did
contest.
you?
Yeah.
But how did you reheat it?
It was a brick
In a
oven.
brick oven.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We did a
So you got
pizza
the Crispies.
competition.
Yeah, so
That's
it was
awesome.
Yeah, it was.
I actually I started a pizza competition in a Fairfield Minute, and then I never finished it. So I'm going to start it up again.
Oh,
so I already
yeah.
have votes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
So I'm just going to start it up again, and let's see who we can get.
Yeah.
Who's going to hold the crown
Yeah.
for?
Frank Pepe's, I think, came in last in ours.
It did. We actually got. We went to Staten Island and got
What?
3 pies from there, half cooked,
Okay.
cheese,
As
Had
you
to
should.
freeze
That's
them
smart. That's
overnight.
smart.
froze
That's how
them
you do it.
overnight.
Yeah.
And then brought it for the competition, and the Staten Island pizza won.
Joe and Pat's, baby.
Yeah, Joe and Pat. I mean, honestly, it
Well,
tastes.
yeah, they're. I mean,
It's like Naughty Dolphin style.
yeah. Well, not so
just
with
doesn't wanna
Naughty
admit it.
Dolphin, like Scott. I also worked at his. He had a restaurant in Black Rock that was Naughty Dolphin that served Italian food, obviously plus the pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And then shortly after that, he closed that one up and just strictly concentrated on
takeout,
Fairfield and the takeout.
spot.
Yeah, I mean, I worked at Naughty Dolphin when like they were not busy. Like Greg and I would go out handing out flyers at the university. Like we'd be sitting
Now they
outside
can close
waiting
down for
phone
the
to
summer.
ring. Like it
No
was
problem.
like, huh?
Now they can close down for the summer, no
Yeah,
problem.
and like
Yeah.
now they're. I mean, they work their asses off, man. Like
Yeah.
like I always tell them, like they are like mentors of mine. They've always like even just like in business or in general in life, like you have to learn to like push through stuff. Like
Yeah.
like watching 2 guys who like hustle hard and just like like they take it on the chin and they keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Like, just like everything is like always no worries, and they always try to manage, like even in a restaurant where it's always chaotic and what have you. So,
all the time.
And still find time to like care for their community
yeah,
and make
I
friends.
mean, I couldn't. They're like just really 2 great guys.
Yeah.
That look out for their people for sure.
I love it. I love giving them my money for pizza. Then. Makes me even happier, honestly. Now.
I know every weekend for us.
So how'd you transition from the pizza world to what you're
So
doing
I
now?
worked in definitely like worked in restaurants and bars. I did club promoting. Like I did a whole bunch of stuff
That's
that kind
where
of
we
just
met.
worked
There you
well.
go.
Huh?
That's where you guys met.
No, so
while he was club promoting, well, that was his job. You were
Were?
you were
Was
still.
it?
Oh yes.
Yeah, I was still working in
Yes, he
restaurants and
was.
doing when I met Paola. And yeah, like I just saw her one night at the O Bar, and I was like, "We're gonna go to New York for after hours for wings. You want to come?" And she was like, "Sure."
And we've been
and
together
literally
ever
we've been
since.
together ever since.
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah,
Literally.
Wings.
Wings,
wings.
brought us
Yeah,
together.
and she was
Wings.
vegetarian by the
At
way.
the time.
She's like, "I'm vegetarian," as she's eating the wings, and I'm like,
Well, that's done with.
"Baby Burns
We'll
and
get to that
Portchester, man,
later.
10-cent wings at the time, dude. You
Wow.
couldn't eat it." Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
that sounds delicious too. Pizza and wings.
Pizza
Just a
and
great
wings.
combo.
Oh,
Exactly. It's why Americans die of heart disease
Yeah.
at such alarming rates.
Die
Yeah.
happy.
Die happy,
Die
he
happy.
said. Yeah.
Oh, good lord.
That's
But
funny.
then you see, like, my Polish grandmother lived till 87 or 89, and she literally, like, would make bacon and eggs in the morning and then use the bacon grease to pour over the egg, and she lived to 89. So, I mean,
That's
89 is
that's a good life.
it's a good life right there. I'd be,
Yeah.
be more than happy with that.
Yeah, I'll take
Be
it. I
more
don't know
than
if you wanna
happy.
live
Bacon
past,
grease
like,
on my
a
eggs
certain
every
age,
morning.
What's that?
I said bacon grease on my eggs every morning.
Right?
My mom
Yeah.
used
Live
to
to
make,
89.
and my grandma too used to take like the bacon grease and make toast. So they'd like cut, rolls, like just bread rolls in half and just like make toast in the pan with the bacon grease.
jeez.
It is
Tony, what are you doing,
divine.
bud? You're just doing it wrong.
I'm honestly,
Learning.
unpopular opinion here.
You're welcome.
Not a huge bacon guy.
What?
Wow. You know what? I'm
Oh
only,
wait, I forgot.
I
You're
get sausage,
obsessed
egg, and
with sausage.
sausage with my eggs every morning.
Love sausage.
Not every
Sausage.
morning, but sausage.
Biggest sausage guy I know.
The sausage king
I've
of Chicago.
definitely-
Sausage
Sausage
king.
king.
Yeah, self-proclaimed sausage king right there.
Abe Froman.
But I'm curious, like, is bacon, egg, and cheese is only like a New England, like tri-state thing?
I don't think so, but obviously we do it the best.
100%.
That's-
Like, there's no better place to
Yeah.
get
I would
bacon,
say
egg, and cheese.
I would say on the bagel is probably like a tri-state thing.
Yeah, but more so a New York thing.
And
I mean,
California,
yeah, bagels
California
around here
does
for
that.
sure.
Really?
That's how they do it.
I
They'll
heard
do
their
the
bagels are horrible, and
Yeah,
their
I
pizza
mean,
too.
a lot of stuff there.
There's not really a lot of great things there.
Yeah, honestly, really.
I mean, the weather's amazing.
That's it. And, but yeah, no.
I mean,
You were saying
for
the bagels were
PR
good there.
purposes, I love California and everyone from there that's migrated here, but
Yeah.
yeah. No, I've been to California a bunch of times. It's a cool place.
Yeah.
But food-wise, I think just on our part of the world,
It's
we
just-
have the best food.
Yeah.
Easily.
So much
Hands down.
different food and
Well, we're a melting pot, literally.
Yeah.
Like, as cliche as that sounds, we have so many different cultures in
Yeah.
the tri-state area that
Yeah.
we're exposed to so much awesome. Like, I grew up ethnic. Like, my grandmother was, Polish. My father's family is Italian. Like, we didn't grow up like. I remember going to kindergarten and I had the longest last name
oh yeah.
because everyone else was like Smiths and Johnsons. And,
Yeah.
Right.
No offense, Brad. But like, you know what I mean? And they're like Benedetto, ooh, exotic.
Yeah.
Olive
yeah.
oil. That's like,
Yeah.
And I was Christopher Benedetto,
Yeah.
so like writing that name sucked
Oh
as
my
like
gosh.
5-year-old.
That's hilarious.
I know the feeling.
But it's funny, right? Like you're in a
Yeah, you
place,
do.
you're like you're the Italian guy's
Right.
the ethnic guy, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh shit, all right, well.
That's
I-
funny.
And I didn't even know what any of that meant at the time.
I went to school with all Italians. I still had the longest name.
Yeah, that's because God clearly hates you.
yeah.
No, but seriously, I mean, it's funny because you don't realize, like, when you meet other people, like, you go to school with like lunch, you're eating like pasta or whatever, and other people are eating like bologna. And cheese
Yeah,
sandwiches
yeah,
and shit.
white
You're like,
bread.
What the fuck are you eating?
Yeah.
Like, I've never
What's
had-
that smell?
What's that smell? Like,
We
I
go
mean,
to,
my
like,
grandmother used to make.
thermoses.
Oh,
the
yeah.
only
Me-
Polish food I
hot
could
food.
eat is pierogies and kibasi.
Oh, yeah.
Outside of that,
Kibasi's
the
so
other,
good.
there was like stuff my grandmother would make because my grandmother lived with us
Yeah.
that I couldn't even tolerate in my house. Like I would have to go outside or I'd throw up.
Oh
Just
my
the smell
God.
alone, like I couldn't handle it.
Cabbage.
Yeah, cabbage, like stuff like that. I just couldn't.
Ew. No.
But yeah, so back to
We digress on food.
How
So-
did you get from the restaurant business
Yeah,
to
so Pal and I,
Haywire.
so I know I could talk forever. So Pal and I end up. So we started dating, of course.
Yeah.
I remained in the restaurant business for a little bit longer. I always have worked in the restaurant
Yeah.
business, even to this day. Like I said, like
Yeah,
if
you-
I could fill in at like Naughty Dolphin or somewhere, I'll still do it. I just
Yeah.
enjoy I enjoy that
vibe? Yeah,
vibe. I like working in fast-paced environments.
Yeah.
It just works well with my mind.
yeah,
But then Pal and I got engaged, and as we were getting serious, she worked a regular 9-to-5 job, and she was like, "Listen, you got to get
We'll get
a
into
regular
that.
job,
Yeah.
like a sales job." And I've always worked in sales as well, so I just started working getting back into sales, just various places doing inside sales and whatever, and then. Forget what happened. Then I wind up going back into the restaurant business a couple years before we got married, and I worked at Centro in downtown Fairfield for about 2 years or so, and I waited, and I also was managed there as well. And then at that point, Pal and I were married, and we literally weren't seeing each other. So she's like, "Can you like get a regular job?" And I went back into sales, and I started working for Staples Corporate, believe it or not, which was pretty much like 95% remote. Like I was able to work from my house and then go out
wow.
to meetings and stuff like that. And that's all I ever do now. Like in
Yeah.
terms of even if I consult for sales or whatever the case may be, I won't work in an office
nice.
because it's just too like. I don't know. I'm not a person that could you get up to go use the bathroom and someone's got something to say, or you're 5 minutes late for lunch. It's like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's not my thing. And then when I found like, oh, outside sales, this is awesome. I can kind of just do whatever I want.
Yeah.
I'm good at what I do in terms of sales, so I'm a big fan of working smarter, not harder.
right. And like I'm the same way. It's like it's better for me to work in an environment like this rather than like a box.
Right.
That's
Right,
not
yeah,
creative
like putting
at
me
all.
in a suit is like basically putting me in a coffin.
Yeah.
Like I don't like it's
I
not.
know.
I can't even sell right if I'm in a suit. 'Cause I
Yeah.
don't feel comfortable. And I'm a big fan of like if you're not comfortable, you're not going to be able to be yourself, obviously, and you just don't.
Your authentic self.
Yeah, your authentic
Yeah.
self. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like a really big thing. So I got back into sales, and then I started. So I was there, and then around 2010, I was working in corporate housing at a place called Oakwood Temporary Housing or Oakwood Corporate Housing, and I was there for literally 1 year, and they did a mass layoff of like 20% of the sales organization. So it wasn't anything personal. I was the
Yeah.
last one hired, so I was the first to go type of a thing. They did it
Yeah.
fair. And it just worked out where Groupon had reached out to me. And like kind of once you start working for startups, that's kind of like what you're pinholed into. And I just worked with various startups from there. And did a pretty...
That was cool too because I watched you like kind of get exposed to like not just a different kind of stuff. Like you always talk about how creative Groupon started being for you and like how it just
Yeah,
was
I mean, it was a
different
fun
realm.
sale. I mean, just like being able to like spent like probably like 95% of my time like selling to restaurants, which is my thing, right?
Yeah.
So I still get to kind of enjoy
Exactly.
the restaurant business, but from a different perspective.
Right.
And you learn a lot with startups. It's a very creative environment. I mean, our office in Chicago had, I think at that time, had 6 floors, and every floor was different theme. They had like an electronic dinosaur. Right? If you probably saw it on YouTube, like roaming around, like just kind of like weird, kind of cool stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
We need one.
Much different than.
Yeah. So I worked at a bunch of different startups over the years. Very long story short, the last place I worked at, which I won't name, was just a complete
Disaster.
fucking shithole.
Yeah.
And the guy who was head of sales just wasn't really that cool.
Yeah.
And Paola was like, dude, just start something and work for yourself.
Yeah.
So with that, I started Bike Shop Marketing, which was a mobile billboard / experiential like kind of marketing company. And I literally built out billboards for my Jeep as well as mopeds and bicycles. And I started getting really ramped up with that. I started selling it. I had a bunch of contracts coming for the summer.
Nice.
And that was in February of 2020.
Oh yeah, we know what happened.
And then obviously COVID hit.
Yeah.
And everyone kind of ducked for cover.
Yep.
So, I was basically out of work trying to figure out what to do. And I'm a big fan of, especially coming from like a dad who was in the Army. There's no such thing as like, there's no can't, right?
Yeah.
Like there's always solutions.
Right.
Or whatever. My father would always say like, work the problem. Or one of his other favorites was like, in order to conquer defeat, you must accept disappointment and find solutions. He says he coined that. I've Googled it. I haven't seen anyone take ownership, so I'll give it to Lenny. But it's true, right?
Yeah.
So I'm on, and of course we live in such polarizing times and everything. I'm on the internet constantly kind of like arguing with people about stuff, and nothing crazy. Like I don't really say anything that's, that would hurt anyone's feelings. I just don't agree with like a lot of stuff going on. And anyway, I noticed like I'm contributing to the problem as opposed to trying to fix it.
Right.
And that's kind of where In A Fairfield Minute came along. And I've always kind of wanted to do something in regards to like a newspaper or a magazine or something like, I remember in 6th grade, and this literally just dawned on me like a couple of weeks ago, but like in 6th grade, you do all these different types of electives, right? And one of the electives we did was like it was in like a printing press. Like, so you're able to create your own newsletter. And I always thought that was like super cool to be able to create your own thing and then like push it out, right? Like that's really awesome.
Yeah.
So it's in the back of my mind. Apparently it was still there.
Yeah.
And I was like, tell Paola, like, let's start a newspaper. Like that would be really cool. But the catch to it would be, it's only going to be positive. It's only going to be community driven. And it's just going to be really all about bringing people together and, just talking about happy things, whether it's like food, art, music, just culture in general.
Yeah.
Like, whatever the case may be. And she was obviously down to do it.
On board.
Yeah.
And the rest is kind of history.
That's awesome.
And that's the point of it. It's just literally just to push out just good, that's our entire mission, is just to really add positivity to the community. And I think that like from a national perspective or even like a state perspective, like I can't control those types of politics. I can't control what other people do or perceptions, right? Like, but what I can control is with I have arm's reach is my community, my friends, my family, and to do good.
Yeah.
So part of kind of all of this was like, we were fortunate during the shutdown that we had savings and stuff like that, where a lot of Americans didn't. So another thing that I did was just like, all right, look, like how can we help people? And I had some friends who started food drives, so we would donate to food. We did some stuff for Operation Hope, and just want to continue to just like help people and just kind of push this entire like idea of just like bringing people together.
Community.
In the community. And we want to just put faces with names and tell stories. So it's not like your typical newspaper in the sense that, like an editorial would be like, if you went to Joe's Pizza, he's on 22 Main Street. Like, that's not our thing. Like, we want to talk about the person's story. How like you said to me, like, no, I want to know, like, how did you come up, right?
Right. Like, I just want to know who you are.
How did you get into pizza? How did you get into this? Like, our stories are meant to tell an actual story.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm just obsessed with in general, is like I love storytelling. I was like in school, I really loved creative writing and satire and all that kind of stuff as well.
Love it. You should write a show or a movie or something down the line.
Yeah, I don't know. But ironically enough, writing isn't my strong point.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm probably better on like talking.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
He is. You're really good at talking.
Yeah.
Barely
And
I
what
had a
about you,
shot.
Paola?
Oh, my Lord.
Where did you come from?
Okay, so it's a long story, too. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
I was born in Norwalk, actually.
Cool.
I'm the youngest of 3 kids.
Awesome.
We're all about a year and a half apart. But when I was 3, we moved to Peru, to South America. My mom's Peruvian. My dad's Italian American. So my dad went for his job. He worked for the Agency for International Development. And it was supposed to be like a 2-year contract, but we're still there. My parents are still living there.
Wow.
So for them, it's like home now. My dad's more Peruvian than anything
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
You know, that's like,
Wow.
it just is what it is.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I actually
yeah.
got to see them briefly.
That's right.
Oh, that's
at,
right, yeah.
Wake Up Cafe.
Yeah.
Shout out Wake Up Cafe.
Yoo-hoo.
Or coffee. Just
I
wake you
know,
up.
they're visiting. It's been a long time. So
Yeah.
they finally made it up here. They got
When was the
their
last
shots.
time?
February of 2020.
February
Oh.
2020. Like
Oh,
they
okay, so
literally
yeah.
were in the States.
Oh, it's not that long ago. I thought you were
No.
going to be like 15 years ago.
Oh no, that would never happen.
I know, yeah.
No. But for us, who like we try to go every year,
Yeah.
you know, and if money permitting, like
Yeah.
it's not always cheap to go.
Yeah,
down there,
of course.
You know? But yeah, they're visiting. It's been. I think we went to Peru in February, and then 2 weeks later, after we got back.
Not
Shut
even. Like,
down.
we got off the plane like a week later. Like
Or
the
a
world
week
was
later.
burning.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah,
God,
literally.
It was terrible. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's where we grew up.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
For how long?
So I was like 3 when we went down
Yeah,
there. And it was K through 12,
Wow.
literally.
So
Yeah,
then
everything.
high school and then what?
I worked. I went to school at the international school there. There's
So-
public school. You don't really go to public school.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
Peru.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of private schools, and there's like the Italian school, the German school,
Yeah.
or whatever, right? And then there's the International School of Lima, which is the American School of Lima. So you do get a lot of
Education of
diplomats and
Yeah.
like just people from all around the world. So it's a really interesting and really nice way to grow up.
Yeah.
The school is just a massive complex, massive blocks and blocks and blocks.
Yeah.
A huge complex. We have the elementary school on one side, the middle school in the middle,
yeah.
high school over here, and
Wow.
it's just like so you literally grow up with your friends. You literally grow up with everybody, and they're your brothers and sisters. It's bizarre. You know,
Yeah.
it's like it's nice.
Yeah,
'cause
it's cool.
It's a family.
Right.
So I had a great experience there. Got an amazing education. 2 cultures growing up: English, Spanish.
I was going to
you
say
know,
they teach you
language,
Yeah, I was
civics, history, both for
Both.
Peru and the States. Yeah, yeah. So we grew up.
That's
with,
what I'm going to say. If I have kids one day, that's where they're going.
Yeah,
Get that. Are you
It's a
kidding me?
It's a really cool school.
It
Paola's
was a
brought me there a
great
couple times.
experience.
Like that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It's
Bilingual
phenomenal.
is what if you could be bilingual, I feel like it's like a little bit of an edge,
Tell
honestly.
my kids that, please.
They don't listen?
Oh my God, they don't listen. I'm like, what are you talking about, Mom?
And
I'm like,
selective
every
hearing.
time
Everyone
it's like
speaks
selective
English.
hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, even when I grew up,
Crazy.
like my grandmother spoke Polish, and my dad's side of the family, I remember them speaking Italian a lot of the times too. But
Yeah.
I feel like just as years go by, and
Yeah.
generations, it just
I
everyone
know.
starts speaking
Dies
English.
off.
I know.
Yeah. But, they have a good ear for it.
Yeah.
They're practicing now, and they're kind of down for it. So.
Yeah.
They understand more than
Yeah.
they could speak.
Yeah,
so, like,
yeah,
we
yeah.
ask them to do something in English and they don't, then we
Yeah.
ask in
Yeah.
Spanish. One way or another, they'll respond to you.
Yeah, yeah.
And when we go to Peru, like I have family who's still there, right? So my mom's sister and her family is still there. So every time we go, like my cousins, their children, like they're just exposed to everything
Culture.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. And
I
then
know.
like somehow they communicate. Like
Yeah.
the cousins, like my aunt, my cousins, they can speak English.
Right.
Their kids a little bit, but
Right.
like he'll talk in English, they'll talk in Spanish, and
They'll figure it out. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I had a similar upbringing like your kids are having.
Yeah.
Because I'm first generation Bulgarian. So
Uh-huh.
when I'd go back to Bulgaria, that's like at first,
Yeah.
because it takes time. I was there from 0 to 3.
Yeah.
Basically. So my first language was Bulgarian.
Yeah.
So every time I go back, it takes, you go for months. You don't go
Sure.
there for like a week.
Exactly.
It's so expensive.
Yeah.
So by the end of the stay, I'm back with it.
Right.
Yeah,
Speaking and everything.
Yeah.
Then I come back and it's like tapers.
Yeah,
And it's like,
that happens.
minimal, but like you said, you don't use it. But yeah, it's interesting. I think that's a cool part about like foreign families that, I don't know if a lot of, generational American families understand. It's like you get to be exposed to just different cultures, and that inherently makes you, honestly, I think, like a better person, understanding
agree.
different cultures, understanding
Totally.
people. Like,
Yeah.
you don't look at something different with a judgmental eye. Like,
Correct.
you know what I mean? You're just like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's a part of their culture. Or that's, it's just
Yeah.
like cool.
Yeah.
Word.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like our kids have no understanding. Like when I grew up, like we would go to my grandmother's, even when I was like a very little kid, like we'd go to my grandmother's on Fridays and Sundays. and the entire family
Yeah.
would be there. Like
Literally.
not
Sunday
like, you know,
dinner.
yeah, like
it.
30 or 40 people. You know, like it's an interesting way to grow up, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's interesting.
Yeah. So it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's different. Like
Yeah.
people there.
It's crazy.
Have a different, like, certainly the culture's a little different. Family life is a little different. Work life is a little different. You know, like here you're grinding all the time. Like there.
Over there, you get.
It's like my cousin's like, oh, let's meet for lunch. Or like out for 2 hours. No
Yeah.
problem. You know.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. It's just like, no, just stay a little later.
Yeah.
Just eat.
Don't
All
worry
right,
about
whatever.
it.
Yeah.
And it just is how it is. Chris's
Oh, I was like,
phone
dude.
is
Sorry.
going
Oh,
off in
boy.
the
I was
middle
like,
of a
no,
podcast.
No, I thought it was.
It was reminding me to strengthen my core. Shout out to Uncommonly.
Uncommon.
Driven.
Oh,
Driven.
nice. That's awesome. Oh, it's
100
great.
crunches right now.
Chuck is doing 1,000 burpees right now.
He's on the Jacob's ladder for 2 days.
Yeah, literally.
I know. When I talked to him at 9 o'clock, I'm like, "What's going on?" He's like, you know,
Yeah.
I just did like 15 miles. This
Yeah.
morning, about ready to work out. I'm like,
Yeah, it's
I
like
strengthened
I'd be
my core.
sleeping for 2 days.
I know. I'm like, I ate a bacon, egg, and cheese.
Yeah. Oh.
I put bacon grease on my eggs this morning.
Yeah, exactly.
You have great arteries. Mine not so much.
But what happened after high school? So how'd you did you know you want to come back to the States or?
No, I didn't. I wasn't 100%
What were the
sure.
options?
So growing up, I was always very artistic. And I loved painting. I loved drawing. I always knew that art had to be a part of my life. But it was also something that was really scary for me because I was intimidated. I didn't think I was good enough. I had
Right.
a lot of self-doubt growing
Right.
up.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I love it. It's like it's in my
I also
DNA.
think that's part of an artist. Like,
Yeah.
artists like supposed to be kind of
Yeah.
like,
I guess
self-doubt,
so.
You have to be like,
self-loathing for good
yeah.
measure.
You post something, it's like this is trash.
Yeah, it's gotta be a struggle, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to struggle.
Tony, well,
Yeah.
you don't talk like that. Tony's always like, I'm the best. I'm this. I'm that. There's no self doubt in Tony's
I
mind.
like myself.
When I see Tony, I'm
Sorry,
just,
You
I mean, I
embrace
feel like a
that.
dick saying it because people ask me. Like, I don't know.
that's not a bad
Well,
thing. That's
now
a good thing.
I think it's different though. Like now, I feel like I've really come into my own through like just a lot of stuff that I've gone through. But like back then,
Yeah.
it was more about what are people thinking of me? Am I
Oh, so
good
you were,
enough?
like, kinda
like
afraid
really
to- yeah,
afraid because
yeah.
I had opportunities. I had opportunities and connections that could have taken me to some pretty great art schools, but I was a little
Reserved.
hesitant and
yeah.
reserved, and I literally just wanted to I want to see what's out there. I want to see if there's something else.
Right.
Whatever, right. And in Peru, I mean, cuisine is delicious.
Yeah.
Art is fantastic. The culture scene is just
Yeah.
It's
like
so
popping.
vibrant.
Yeah,
It's so
exactly.
and probably what inspired me to want to do it in the first place. You
Yeah.
know. And so I really contemplated staying there for university to study art. And again, we had connections in that world as well at the university. So I really contemplated it. But then I decided, no, I want to go to the States. I want to experience college life. Down there, it's a little different. It's like you go, you're living at home while you go
Yeah,
to college.
yeah.
There's no campus life
It's
and all
more
that
just
stuff.
like almost like work.
Almost like work. Like
Yeah.
you go to school, like
Yeah.
if you go to work and you have your classes when you
Yeah.
go home.
Yeah.
You know, that's how it is.
There's no fun.
It's not, yeah. So yeah, I guess I wanted to have fun.
Yeah.
Not to say that you
although-
didn't have fun when you were in high school.
Oh my God.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
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 I mean,
think,
every
well,
kid.
I think I was a little partied out actually
Yeah.
by the time I went to college. So
Oh,
I really
really?
did.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh.
So you just
Talk
want
about this.
Well, like
Yeah.
growing up here, you go to, I mean, me and my friends were like riding graffiti, skateboarding, and I guess we could say we'd go to parties and stuff. But like the common person when you, in high school in the States,
Right.
especially down here, is like you go to like a golf course with a keg and everyone's just
Right.
House
like,
party.
shit-faced. Like,
Right.
we're-
Yeah.
There wasn't that
there were
there.
house parties there.
Where-
Like, for
what's the drinking age?
sure.
18 there?
I think it's actually.
She's like, it's like
21 now.
14.
It's actually 21
is
now.
none.
But if we're
I
being
was like, I was
completely honest,
11 drinking whiskey.
Yeah.
I was 15 when I went to my first club.
Wow.
There was an 80s club called Bizarro, and that was my first club. Yeah,
That sounds like a blast.
first tattoo at 15, like literally.
Oh no, it's
80s,
total like.
yeah.
That
Oh
club
yeah,
is,
sorry,
like,
sorry,
total-
say.
Not right now.
There's another one called Powerhouse.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Bizarro was like kind of very like new
That was
wave,
my
right?
jam.
I went there once
wave.
with you,
It
but that was
more new
also
wave.
obviously.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
That's
It was,
cool.
It was tons of fun. So like, so I guess I got exposed
You guys
to
grew up.
stuff.
You guys grew up quicker, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a perfect way
Yeah.
to do it, right?
Exactly.
I feel like that's like city kids, like kids in New York City.
Yes.
Totally.
They're like when they're 19, they're like 35 years old. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
like just like
they think they like know
Yeah.
life. You know,
Yeah, like, I
and it's
hate-
I think actually when we're all teenagers, we're thinking like we know how it goes.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like,
I was
life's
a
like
moron.
no, like buckle
Oh,
up,
idiot.
motherfucker. It's gonna get
I was a
tougher.
complete moron. Like
Idiot.
the stuff that we did, like, you know, we're so lucky, knock on wood, like that. You're just like so lucky that we didn't get hurt, or
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
just like morons. But it was a lot of fun, and it was just a cool experience. And so by the time I got to college, I was kind of focused more on my studies. I party a little bit, but then I really kind of just hunkered down.
Cool.
Went to Sacred Heart.
Shout out Shoe.
Let's go.
Yeah. That's awesome. You went.
Don't worry, Housatonic. I'm still holding it down here.
So wait. No, who House of Chronic is like. I'll one day donate money to that place because they put me on a good journey, like the professor.
They also have like a fantastic art program.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have a really good art program.
I
That's
didn't know
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
But shoot, what were we just saying?
Sacred Heart.
Oh yeah. So you just picked Sacred Heart?
Yeah.
What the freak?
I know. This is what I'm saying. That it's random. I
You guys were meant to
know.
meet.
That's what
That's
I tell
crazy.
him that all the
Yeah.
time. I feel like I could have all this self-doubt and all this like, oh, I made that mistake. And honestly, I carried like certain things like, did I make the right choice? Did I do this? Like, why did I do that? But then I always think like, if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have met this person, this, da, da, da. And I always tell Chris, like, I think we were meant to find each other no matter what. Because I think he's like, literally, he's my lobster. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, we mesh and we match. And I couldn't do life without Chris.
Yeah.
So
I could hear the vomiting on the other side.
I know, but it's true, guys.
It is true.
No.
We're kind of like we definitely are like the
That
obnoxious
annoying.
couple that are together all the time, and we literally do
Literally.
everything together.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it.
No.
Yeah, we're just
Either.
good partners.
Yeah, we are.
That's
Yep.
awesome.
So,
True love is real.
It's
It is.
real, y'all. But no, so Sacred Heart was great. Let's
Wait,
go back to Shoe.
Why Shoe though? I'm so curious.
I had actually
No offense
already,
to Shoe. I'm acting
No,
like
not-
it's a trash
not at
school.
all.
I'm just like
little
you're
bit, you are,
right.
yeah.
Like yeah, I'm like why
Like,
the
when you-
hell would you pick this
You're
dump?
like,
But for
Jesus
art,
Christ,
right?
What's wrong with you, Paola?
For art, it's
If,
like
if you
what?
got rid of your self-doubt,
Right.
it's going to be coming back.
I
by the end of the day.
know.
I'm so
not
sorry.
at all. Not at all. So I went there because like I had already decided I was going to Manhattanville, like have a beautiful art program, and it was wonderful. Like I was decided.
Pratt
Dang,
too,
dude.
right? Or Parsons?
Huh?
Was it Parsons or Pratt? That you
No.
also...
Pratt, I had a connection to go to Pratt, and I
Yeah.
could have gotten in there, but I was scared out of my life. Yeah, isn't it crazy?
I know.
I could have gone to Pratt.
Well, you guys are like I
Whatever.
don't know. It's just like
There's a lot. I don't know, but I had a connection to Sacred Heart, and before I submitted my yes to Manhattanville, you know, my dad was like, "Oh, you know, we haven't seen Sacred Heart. It's close to home," and we actually like knew people that worked there. One of our closest friends. Oh, I have to go back in my story a little bit. Was a priest there, and so like we had a connection. Father John Giuliani.
I didn't know
Father John
was a priest.
Giuliani.
He was
Yeah.
connected. He was
Sounds
connected.
He
like
also,
a guy,
he
yeah.
also married us as well.
Also married us.
Wow.
But okay, I'll jump back really quickly. My dad used to be a priest before he met my mom, obviously. So like he had, you know, those connections. They were so close, him and Father John Giuliani. He unfortunately, Father John has passed away recently.
Sorry.
But he was such a special man. And so like, you know, I said, okay, let's go look at Sacred Heart. And I went, and back then Sacred Heart is not what we know it.
Yeah.
Like
No, it's
today
like
it's
Not
Disney
even
World.
close.
monstrosity.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
anyone who knows Sacred Heart right now, like the extent of, oh my God, we're expanding was like, you know, East Hall or whatever, like building it, you know, across the street. Like it
Wow.
was nothing. It literally like, oh,
Where
are
was-
we going
was
to
it the art
are we going to
school
take over the
off
JCC?
campus?
Like, ooh, yeah, the art campus. It might still. I
And
don't
Fitness
know what it is.
4000 was there
And
back when
Fitness
we were there.
4000.
That was my
Oh,
spot.
I
Oh my
forgot about
God,
that.
yes.
I love that gym.
Never went there.
Shut up. I know you weren't worthy. That's
We
why.
had to go on,
Only
like-
real hoopers.
I didn't
Yeah.
want to take the shuttle and whatever. Dude.
We had to go like on a little shuttle from campus,
The shootle.
the shootle,
The Shoodle.
all the way
Yeah.
to the art department, and then
Where
I
is
mean,
the art department?
it was on like Oakview Drive, I want to say.
Do you guys know?
But I don't know if it's there anymore.
It-
How much
wasn't
it's
it-
expanded,
wasn't there
it
like
must
a
be at
corporate-
something.
Was
The
it near
art
the corporate
department.
campus?
It was off of Old Town Road.
Yeah. It
was off of
You
Old
go
Town. I think
Old
it was
Town like
all
all
the
the
way
way down. Literally, till you can't go anymore.
And took a left.
Yeah, take the left into the
And
building.
across from it
Yeah.
is the corporate campus. Remember, I worked at like Tech Depot over there.
Yes.
Remember?
Yeah. Oh, that's why I'm saying Oakview. Maybe that's why. Yeah.
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 Okay.
I think
But
Chopsy
anyway.
Hill was that street. If you make
Yeah,
it right, it was
correct.
Chopsy Hill.
And if you take a
100%,
left,
yeah.
it was something else though. But yeah, it was
Yeah,
it was
wow.
where it met Chopsy. So that's how far we had to go for our art classes. And the computer lab was there and everything. By now, I'm sure they have their own department.
It's in Martiri now, the art department.
Is it?
I don't know what that is.
They merged
That's where our building or our program is.
Like the media.
Media and arts, I
Because
guess.
because they like rebranded the School of
makes sense.
Communication, Media, and the Arts.
That makes sense.
It's a beautiful building now. And it's right across the street from the main campus, like on the corner.
Frank and Marissa Martiri.
Frank and Marissa Martiri.
Yeah. I don't know who they are.
Yeah, me either.
Rich people who
Yeah.
I guess
money.
Paid for
Yeah.
that building.
Got it. Thank you. Anyway, but yeah.
So you visited the school.
So, well, I visited the school and I kind of actually became comfortable because it was not too big, not too small. I don't know.
It was like a cozy slipper.
It was like a cozy slipper. It was. But I met great people. I met great people, and I obviously learned a lot. I took one design class, like just to get it out, because I needed it for my major. Like just you needed to do psychology, philosophy, whatever it was. And for my art major, I had to take at least graphic design 101, and I hated graphic design. I swore I would never touch a computer. I wanted it to be fine arts. But I'm like, oh, whatever, I'll do it. So I did. And I graduated and it was great. But when I left, I'm like, what do I do now? You know, like I'll because I had a major in illustration. Maybe I'll illustrate children's books. Maybe I'll do this. So then my first thing out of college was like trying to get into the publication world.
Right.
Like reaching out to like the Random Houses or whatever, trying to see if I can get connections with authors and this and that. Ultimately, I did make a connection with a woman I'm still in touch with today, Sharon Martin.
She's like J.R. Token or whatever.
RJ
What's her name?
R.J. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling. This one woman, J.K. Rowling. And I'm still kind of in touch
at
with.
one point, and now she's got more money than Jesus.
Yeah. And she
Whatever,
started at
good
like
for her.
35 too.
Oh, yeah, good for her.
Good for her. She has a fantastic story.
Oh yeah.
So anyway,
Continue.
Sorry. No, I don't care. You can do these things.
I threw it off track.
RLJK.
Oh, yeah.
Any initials you were throwing out there.
TKSV.
So I did all her illustrations. No. So I do have one random book out there that I did illustrate for, which is pretty great. It's called Murray. It's a children's book.
Cool.
So I did that, and then I just tried to kind of stay in that world. But being a starving artist was nice for a little bit, but it doesn't pay the bills.
No.
Because you're literally starving.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my first gig, while I tried to sort myself out, was actually waitressing at Luigi's restaurant in Fairfield,
Yeah.
on Fairfield Ave. I think it's 170
It's still there, right?
Post Road.
Yeah, it's still
170
there.
Post
Yeah.
Road in Fairfield, one of
went
our
there.
favorite places. And I bussed tables, I waitressed, I did whatever. And
Tony,
then
don't think I didn't see the face.
I know.
I'm going to drop
One
a
of
little
the
full
greatest
disclosure,
pizza.
though. They're great friends of ours, and they're godparents to our daughter.
Oh, that's nice.
You arse!
Oh, man.
I've never actually been.
I took my-
It's
oh.
right on.
All right, listen, we're going to all go out for
Yeah.
dinner.
Is
or
it next to that social cafe or whatever
It's
it
it's
is?
on the
across
other
from it.
side.
On the other
It's
side,
on the
okay.
other side of the
Okay,
plaza.
okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, no, I gotta definitely go, and I you're going to.
I would like to go again.
No, we're all going to go together.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, let's just, like, all go together.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to call out Tony for talking shit.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I love
Oh,
it.
man,
I'd
that's
love
funny.
to see Julio and him go at it.
Dude.
That's so.
No, they're
funny.
all jokes aside. They're
They're
really
so
awesome.
great.
Yeah.
They're so great. It's a family business. Been there
For
what,
almost
50
my whole
years?
life. So
almost
it's
50 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got to be forever. I
Yeah,
grew
I
up
mean,
in
I went there when I was a
Fairfield,
little kid.
Yeah.
With my family as well, yeah.
Exactly.
I wish I'd been. Honestly, I feel bad. I feel like a true Fairfield person now.
You should
This thing feels like really long hair
Yeah.
because it like only works right now. The cord right now, if
Right.
it's like this tilted. So I
Yeah, I'm
have
having
to,
the same situation.
Yeah, we
Are
got
you?
new cords coming.
Yeah, we
in.
had a dog
we had
in here.
to shoot up the cables from flying.
Cable. It's
Mine's
tough.
working.
Good. That's all that matters then. And
Obviously.
Tony's, I know, is
Well,
working.
this one was over here, so it didn't get chewed up.
Yeah, exactly.
But I gave Mike the worst one. I was like,
Literally the worst one.
oh, they need the better.
When I look at
cable,
Tony, I
so.
can't hear. And when I look at you guys, I hear.
Well,
Yeah, only when I look at Tony. I'm looking deep in your eyes, Tony.
Yeah. Now he's just locked into you.
I don't know.
You guys are so so sketchy. I love it. Where were we?
So you were working at Luigi's as a waitress.
Yes.
I was, and then after that, I got into. I worked for the environmental magazine. I was doing advertising sales for them. God help me, I don't know what I'm doing with advertising and sales. I originally went to them to see if they needed a designer.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, we have this job. You're like, all right.
Yeah, cool.
I can do it.
Pretty much.
I know.
Yeah.
We had met at like a college fair when I was still at SHU and what
Yeah.
have you, and then it just kind of ended up that I started working there, made some fantastic friends that I'm still friends with now.
Nice.
It was a small little place, great experience, and then ultimately somehow. I think I still
I know
remember.
the story.
I was sitting
I could tell the story
I
how
was
you-
sitting at the environmental magazine, and I totally got a phone call from this random dude, Moon Mehta. Hello, Moon.
Who's now our friend.
Who is now our
Moon.
friend. Moon. Yes, that is his name.
That's cool.
And he's a great guy. A friend of mine had recommended me for a position, and he was the chief creative officer, let's say. He was a VP of creative at Integrated Marketing Services. And at that point, they were a small shop at the Merit 7 buildings, just about to blow up, So I joined them just in time, and I was with them for like 2.5 years, and kind of just like started. I mean, it was graphic design, the one thing I said I would never do.
Right.
But I needed money. I needed health insurance. I needed whatever. I said I'm gonna.
But you also did freelance with Ted.
I did freelance with Ted
That's right.
first, right? So he kind of introduced me to. So I guess I dipped my feet in the
Ted,
water.
Ted is kind of like the constant in all of this because he kind of helped you guide you through your career too. Which is pretty
That's
cool.
right.
He always
pulled
looked out
me
for
in.
Paola.
He did. So I did. I helped him, and he kind of, taught me the ropes a little bit. And then I got pulled into Integrated, and I was there for like 2.5 years. And Ted pulled me out to go to Tracy Locke after that.
Yeah.
And so I stayed there for
Almost 8.
7 years. I
Seven
think
and
it
a
was.
half, almost 8 years.
7, 8.
yeah.
Tomato,
Did we not
tomato.
already
Tomato,
establish
tomato.
who remembers everything?
Yeah, yeah.
Whatever. You embellish sometimes. But okay.
Oh.
Sounds like Tony.
Well, who wants a boring story?
Yeah,
Sounds
right.
like
You gotta
Tony.
embellish.
Right?
Make it
Story's not
interesting.
boring.
Yeah,
I
whatever,
keep the
Tony.
truth,
Fibber.
but the rest,
No, it's not
My story's
fibbing.
not
You're a
boring.
fibber,
No,
Tony.
I'm not saying you
Embellishment,
called
dude.
me someone who embellishes. That's an incredibly heinous thing to call someone.
Embellisher.
Imply. I have no clue what I'm talking
I
about.
don't either.
My kid woke me up at 4 a.m. So.
I called it, dude. I said it.
I tell you all the time I see you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, I know.
I was like,
He
I bet,
said it, he
I bet
said it.
Chris is up
I
at
was
4:30.
Yeah, it's like
I
people
was
see me,
hoping
they're
it
like,
would not
why do
come
you
up
look the
today."
way you do? And I'm just like, Angelo.
Angelo.
I love my boo-boo.
Anyway,
Where was I? I went to
Ted.
Tracy Locke.
Yes.
Ted,
To
yeah.
7-year job.
7-year job. So I just kind of like moved up the ranks in this random thing that I swore I'd never do. And what I'm proud of is that I kind of taught myself through experience because of that. Like I literally had one design class.
Yeah.
So I could understand like the keyboard. And I remember like telling my friends like when I first started at integrated marketing, like I don't know all the shortcuts yet, like the key commands. Like I know the programs a little bit. And then he's like, you'll do fine. I'll teach you. Just ask me. Just whatever. So like, if they hadn't pulled me in, a lot of this wouldn't have happened because
Right.
this has become my career.
Yeah.
After 7 years at TL, like I moved up, all the way to associate creative director, from being like not
junior
not
designer
even a
at-
junior, like you could
Yeah.
even call me a junior designer. I was like a graphic designer, right? They're like, and I was really proud of that.
Yeah.
And I made one more move after that, but then I was pregnant with my daughter Ana Sofia. At the time, Angela was 4.5 when she was born, and it was kind of like a moment where I had to make a choice because I was miserable. I was crying at the thought of going back to a desk job.
Yeah.
It's a very tedious, time-consuming job. Like you put your heart and soul into what you do at these agencies. It's a lot of work, and sometimes you don't feel like.
The reward
It's
or
just
like the
reward.
fulfilling and
Right,
like the
you know?
appreciation maybe at
Yeah.
times.
I mean,
like
granted,
You grind.
there are good people there.
Right, of
There are
course.
fabulous people there, and like I said, I learned a lot. But it just, I'm like with Ange, I
You need to
missed
give my
a lot
ears
of.
a little love.
Okay, yeah, no worries.
Sorry.
I missed a lot of his firsts Chris was with him at home all the time. He sacrificed his career to be able to, take care of our son.
I juggled a lot because I worked in outside sales, so you have a lot of autonomy, obviously.
But
But you also have to be
challenge.
disciplined. Like you couldn't. It was a challenge because I was able to do my job, but also I was the one who had to pick up, bring Angelo to daycare, get him situated when he got home, and all that stuff. But for me, whatever. Like Paola literally sacrificed everything with our first kid. I had to videotape like him trying different foods. His like first steps
As a mommy,
and stuff
it was
like that. It was hard.
Yeah,
You
I bet.
Like,
As a
don't
mom,
sell
it was
yourself
hard.
short. You sacrificed a lot, dude.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make her cry.
No,
No,
don't make
it's
me cry.
fine. It's okay because it's like now it's like, it all
Can you
comes full
cue in a
circle.
little
Does
wind
come
beneath my
full.
wings?
No,
Yeah,
stop.
I'm just kidding.
Don't.
Don't go get wings with Chris ever. You'll just end up marrying him.
He'll just stare into your eyes and like,
Yeah. These lights just appear out of nowhere.
I love it. But yeah, so it was decision time, and at that point, so Chris was the one coming to me to tell me it's your chance to try something on your own, and I had thought of iPow Creative, right? My name is Paola, so I was like, iPow is cool, like it comes as my name, and like it's like impact and whatever. I'm like, so I had this name for like 4 years, and I just like had this thing, and Chris is like, just try, like just do it, and so I, as a maternity, I went back for a little bit. We were buying a home in Fairfield. I needed to keep my paycheck, but I was like, you know what? I have some unpaid maternity I still have. Like, let me just like give it one final thought. I went on the unpaid maternity and I decided, okay, this is it. So I put in my 2 weeks. I left, and literally as I'm picking up my box of stuff, I'm in the parking garage. Moon calls me. Moon comes back into the
Son?
picture out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And he's telling me about what he's doing and his business, his company, right? I mean, this guy has connections everywhere, and he's so fun and energetic, and I don't know, everything he does is like he pushes it to the max. So I really love
He's a
having
great
him in
creative.
my life. He's a
Like
great
a really awesome
really
creative.
awesome creative. So he calls me and he's shooting the shit with me, and I'm telling him like, oh, well, I'm actually in my car. He's asking me what I'm doing. I'm telling him what's happening. He's like, oh, well, I need someone to help me. Do you want to, why don't you come tomorrow or next week, whatever it was, And all of a sudden I'm walking out of my job, my ex job, with a new job, and all these things just started
And
happening.
then Farah reached out to you as well.
Farah reached out to me, and she was still in agency. So all these connections that I had made, whether people were still in agency, had their own agencies, went off to the brand side, did whatever, everyone heard that I had left and started pulling me in and asking me to come help, come here. So I started with a little
But I
freelance.
think this is like an important thing, not to kind of totally go off track,
Yeah.
but like deciding or becoming an entrepreneur is not an easy. Like I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've had a million different businesses I've started. Some I've completed, some were successful, some weren't. Some weren't successful just because I clearly didn't want it bad enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you take that risk and you put yourself out there, like the universe responds, man, and other people see like what you're doing,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Fuck, I could do that too," right? Like, or they're like, "That's so awesome that you're doing that. Like, how can I help you?" Right?
Yeah.
And I just think like for anyone who wants to be an entrepreneur or realize like you don't have to work a 9 to. If you want to work a 9 to 5, that's awesome. Like, God bless, that's really cool. Like, you should do that. But I feel like there's also people out there like ourselves that like you want to work for yourself. You want to, for whatever
There
various
is something
reasons.
more out there.
The point is
Yeah.
like if you put it out in the universe, people will respond, and your friends and your family will step up without even asking. A lot of times, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like that's what happened. And Chris told me before I started, he's like, it's going to be an adjustment period. Not everyone's cut out to do this.
Yeah.
Like it's
true.
It's difficult. It's just you.
You just
at
have to
that
be
point,
disciplined.
right?
Yeah.
So, but it was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing. I felt like I didn't miss a beat, and I just kept going. I freelanced at agencies. I did whatever I had to do to kind of keep my, my thing going, and slowly but surely, all of a sudden, boom, another one of my agency connections reached out and said, you know what, I'm moving on to something else. I have a personal client who needs help. Can you take on this client for me? I think you'd be a great fit. I heard that you left the agency world. And I said, absolutely, let's have a meeting. And fast forward 5 years later, they're still my clients. You know what I mean? Like I built a relationship with them. And that's one of the greatest things that
Give them a shout
in my personal, what?
Give them a shout out.
Adam Jacobson.
Shout out Adam.
Pet Pantry Warehouse.
Oh, okay, cool.
So they actually have a location in Fairfield on Black Rock Turnpike, guys. So it's phenomenal there. And they have locations all around Connecticut and even New York. So they have like in Rye and
Greenwich.
Greenwich. No, not the Greenwich
not
one
the
anymore.
Greenwich, right.
But anyway, so they have a ton of locations. And it's a family business, you know, but that's kind of what I started noticing. I got a lot of joy out of building relationships with people.
Yeah.
And this is where like the self-doubt and the person that I wanted to be started kind of like coming out and changing. I started realizing like I love building relationships with people. Like even when I was on the agency side, I loved building a relationship with my clients. And
Right.
a lot of other people are just like, dude, they're the client.
Yeah.
We're the whatever. And it was like a, you know, or like you let only account people have that relationship sometimes. And it's just like,
It's not who
it's
you
not
are.
me.
Yeah.
Like I like connecting
Yeah.
with people, you know,
Yeah.
and so I really got a kick out of that. And then slowly but surely, like it just grew, and you know, it's been
And you
a
have
wonderful
a lot of great,
ride.
Like you still freelance for some really great other agencies that are
Yeah.
like really
Yeah.
good to her as well and super awesome.
And what's fun is like as an entrepreneur, as someone who owns her own business, it's like you get to try so much more than you ever would have if you stayed on a desk job, you know,
Yeah.
and working for someone else,
I
making
know.
the decisions. I want to say who I work with.
Yeah.
I want to decide. I want to talk to them, and I tell everyone like, let's meet. Let's see if we match.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can work together.
Literally.
If you like me, if I like you, like I make the decision if I want to work with somebody. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Whether or not it's a recommendation, like I get to choose. And I've gone from someone who, you know, doesn't know how to click the commands or the shortcuts
Who's
to
like-
suddenly like, yeah, I'm like
like that?
efficient and I'm speed, you know, and I have a
I knew
way
you
of
wanted to do another
working.
Hey, you was trying to cut to you. I know it. I
did.
got
Oh,
you,
I
bud.
got it twice,
Oh,
too.
good. Perfect. You want a third time?
You want a third time?
No, no, no,
Oh,
no.
you want a third time? No, fine.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, you guys are
So
so yes, it's been great, and I
That's-
get to do things that are like beyond, you know, my design, the design work that I thought design was. Like,
Right.
You know, I need to make a brochure, or I need to do a logo, or whatever. Like I'll help people build websites now. I've helped with video production. You know, it's just like all these other things that I would have never no one would have given me the opportunity to like,
Yeah.
really do that because I'd never done it before. But I've taught myself.
Yep.
And I love that. Like I when I stop to think about that, I do kind of tap myself on the back because
But you
know,
should.
and I should.
yeah.
I think
And
everybody
everyone should. Like
I know.
think about what you've
You
done
forget
with
to
your life.
sometimes.
Oh, I'm like as self-loathing as it gets.
Yeah.
dude. Like I really am. I
You
don't mean that
suck.
like
I'm the worst.
yeah. I mean, and
This
it's
is
Or
like
you
good
don't
enough.
like giving yourself credit, you know, but it's not
Yeah.
showing off. It's actually a really cool thing.
I'm never gonna make it.
nothing.
Yeah, yeah. Literally. We
But
just
it's true. There's so many of us, and I'm one of those people who do it. Like, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do gratitude lists every morning.
have to.
and do things to kind of remind my. Like, I saw a reel the other day where
Yeah.
this girl was talking about like bad self-talk, like self-loathingness and stuff like
words,
that.
yeah.
And I took a screenshot of it because it's true. Like, but what if it does work?
It does.
What if it is successful?
tell this dude.
What if it's going to work? Like,
Yes.
you just have to change your mindset
Right.
because
Mindset.
the reality of it is it can't. Just
Yeah.
as bad as you think it's not going to work,
Yeah.
there's the same amount of opportunity for it to work.
It's crazy because scientifically, words, your body doesn't know the different. Like it doesn't know. So and then you're biologically reacting to that. Your
Right.
body when
Correct.
you're like I'm
100%.
a loser. It's like and you really mean it. Your body.
You're sinking
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah. Like literally.
You're right.
Vibrations. Raise them, Tony.
But it's true. Like
what
you
did I
have
do?
to. and,
No, I'm
like,
just joking because he doesn't. He doesn't believe in the morning affirmations as much or the manifestation
thing is-
I don't
stuff.
think I have the self doubt you guys are talking about.
It's not about
But
self
you know what it
doubt.
is? No, but
It's
what
not
it is
about
is like I
that.
think it's like you might
manifesting
be.
your
Yeah.
day.
But
Yeah.
you might be a realist. Like my friends would joke around and be like, they used to call me the realist because I would just literally see things as they are, as
right.
opposed to being like
Talk to this guy.
a dreamer,
Right.
right? But
Well,
having a little bit of self-doubt and having a little bit of fear, like fear reminds you that you're alive. Fear
Right.
is telling you.
Oh,
Fear
it's
is
natural.
good. Being
Yeah.
scared is good because your
Yeah.
body's telling you something, right? And that's a good thing. But you also have to remind yourself, like, yeah, like I used to think, well, if I think positive thoughts, then the opposite's going to happen, right? But the reality is that if you write positive thoughts down, you will manifest that energy.
Yeah.
Like my
might
friends
not
joke
come to
around
you
all
the
the
same
time.
way
Like
that you
I
think.
find pessimism absolutely hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it's funny. I'm really not a pessimist. I'm an internal optimist. I literally believe everything works out. It might not work out the way that you want it to work out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But everything will work out
Yeah.
one way or another.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And especially when you own your own business like we do. We have months where we're like, this is the fucking greatest thing in the world. And then there's months where you're like,
What are we doing?
what the fuck? I'm like, Paola, we're going to have to fucking take pictures of your feet and put it on fucking OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Or my feet for all I care.
Yeah,
you know?
those people are
Whatever
probably
works.
into your feet, honestly.
You know, I'm like, we're going to be going from doing
Oh my
design work and
God.
newspaper work to taking pictures of our feet on OnlyFans.
Oh my God.
Living the dream.
Yeah.
No, obviously, I'm joking, but
Yeah.
it's like you have that fear, but that should just drive you to make you work harder and,
Yeah.
and like be like, I think like I don't like losing. I don't know anyone that does like losing, but I think you have to get comfortable with losing.
Yeah.
Because losing is part of the process, right?
Yeah.
You know, like
Not giving up is the other, losing,
Yeah.
but not giving up.
when I
Yeah.
worked
yourself
at
back
worked at I sold for Staples corporate, and there's a lot of churn there. Like we would go through reps a lot, and you'd have a person pick up the phone, you'd hear it because it was a pretty much remote. We'd have Mondays where you'd meet for half a day and do like a call day or whatever, and like the new person would call up and he'd be like, "Hi, it's so and so from Staples Advantage or whatever," and then it goes silent, and I'd like peek over and be like, "What happened?" They're like, "Oh, they said they weren't interested." I'm like, "But find out why they weren't interested."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's a way of keeping people on the phone or keeping people engaged to kind of turn that no into a yes, but you have to have tough skin and
Yeah.
not, and know that like a bunch of those no's are going to become a yes.
Yeah.
It just, and that's that's what you're looking for, right? That's like where what do they call it?
Oh, it's like the 3 yeses or whatever.
No, but like what do you get when you're like super hyped that it makes you like happy? I'm having such a brain fart.
Dopamine, serotonin. Yeah.
Well, but dopamine is when you do something like it's when someone likes your comment on Facebook, right?
Serotonin?
Serotonin, is that when someone likes your comment on Facebook? It gives you that like instant gratification.
I think that's, and I know your dopamine rises like when you're working out and stuff,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So
But I thought dopamine was the one that
it's the
keeps
same
you-
actually feeling, even when you're eating. I can't
Yeah,
remember now.
but whatever
Look
it
up,
is,
Tony.
it's
You're
like-
right.
Robitussin?
Yeah. So the average person, when they hear that no, it brings them down.
Yeah,
You know,
yes,
whatever.
yes.
But it's like you just have to remind yourself, like,
Yeah.
as you're going through it, like, all right, like I got like last week I had like 16 no's. But guess what? I woke up Monday morning to one of my clients, like with an awesome email from one of my clients.
Oh.
And it's just keeping in that headspace, and it's just like, oh, there we go.
What? Dopamine.
mean,
Several important rules in the body. It is an
neurotransmitter
organic
versus
chemical of the families. Dopamine.
Chemical of pleasure.
Yes. All right. So yeah, that's the one that when you're eating a burger,
Instant
even
gratification.
Instant
stuff.
gratification,
Yes.
yeah. Where the serotonin or whatever is like the
I
natural.
like dopamine.
I think serotonin
Yeah,
also is
dopamine's
what.
good.
But don't you
Great.
build that up if you work out? Serotonin.
it's natural.
Endorphins.
The key hormone that
stabilizes
stabilizes
our
our
mood,
mood,
feelings
Correct,
of well-being, and happiness.
impacts your entire body
It enables your
and your nervous
cells to
system.
communicate with
Yes,
each other.
this
Wow.
is
It's good
guys.
stuff.
Don't live stress, folks.
Stress
It'll
is
affect
like
your
Yeah.
nervous system.
absolutely, yeah.
affect
Stress is
everything.
Everything.
horrible. Easier said than done, of course.
Obviously, yeah.
Oh
but-
yeah, I mean,
Oh yeah. Well, not when I'm Tony, I could do anything. I have a mustache.
Yeah.
So cool. Yeah, this is sick. So then, all right. So let's go to now. Like you guys are now doing in a Fairfield Minute. Tell us how that's been. Especially you guys launched it during COVID, right?
We launched it. I guess.
We
so
were
it's
having the
idea-
conversations. Like
the
the idea
conversations,
came like
yeah.
end of 2019. He
Okay,
came out-
cool.
No, end of 2020.
Oh
End
boy.
of, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
end of
January
2020.
base- yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
End of 2020.
And we put our first issue out.
Yeah. When was the
March.
first one?
It
Oh,
was
okay.
March.
Cool.
Yeah, so now we're on our 6th issue. And again, it was really kind of like a call to action to the community. We had we have professional writers, we have student writers, we have people who just kind of want to write because it's just like their passion and they enjoy doing it. All kinds of it's just really
every
cool
level.
stories, every level. But a lot of it. But the point is it's a group effort that we really appreciate, and
Right.
it's kind of part of our mission. Like, it's nice to see that people want to contribute to what we do just as much as like we want to help the community. And like, I don't say that kind of in jest. Like, I really mean it. Like, we want to help people and we want to help our community. We want to bring people together. And I
That's
think
for
with-
sure.
Huh?
We could vouch for that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
likewise. Like, we only like to associate ourselves with people that practice that same,
Yeah.
Right.
feeling or ideology or whatever you want to call it, and it's just super important. And it's just taken off really well, and it seems like the community is really responding well to it. And what have you. And again, like any startup or starting any new business, there's ups and downs and all kinds of, sometimes you go left when you should have went right and do all these things, but it's all a learning process, which
But it's a fun adventure.
Yeah,
definitely
it's an adventure.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Adventures are good.
Yeah.
Well,
And then
glad-
we've also
I'm glad-
connected with a lot of people, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been really good. And like one of the pieces of feedback that I think applies to this as well, and I think applies to Chris as well too, is like when I decided to go off on my own originally, like one of the best pieces of feedback that I got that sticks with me and it just like rings in my head every time that I have any worry about whatever. It's just my friend said, "I'm so proud of you. I can't believe. I wish I had the balls that you had to take a chance on yourself and take that leap of faith." And I feel the same way. I feel like Chris really found like that nugget, that little thing that he's like so insanely passionate about. I have never seen him more passionate about anything else. Like he said, he's like a man of ideas, and he truly is. He has an incredible mind for solutions and things. Like, what if we did this? How can we do that? And like,
I hate attention, by the way, so this makes me cringe when someone
I know,
talks
but
nicely about me.
but it's true. Like
Yeah.
being his friend, his wife, like it's like
Yeah.
I've witnessed him, figuring things out for himself. And when we were married, and Angelo, before my daughter was born, like we had a baking business, an online baking. He
We
comes
had
from
an ice cream truck. We had a
an
coffee
ice cream.
cart.
There's so many things, guys, that we've tried and like whatever. And it's not that it wasn't awesome. Like
Or
we
that it
put our-
couldn't have not worked.
that it
It's just
couldn't-
we didn't want it bad enough. At the end of the day, it just comes down to like
100%.
how bad. What do they say? People, what are you willing to sacrifice to
Yeah.
get? I think at the end of the day, it's like it's not so much that. It's just like how bad do you really want it
Yeah.
to work?
I know.
Like
And
what
it
are you willing to do
100%.
to get to? And clearly there's certain things that we've come up with, and Pal has always supported all of my crazy, insane ideas. But yeah, I mean, to your point too, like. Even growing up, like I had a hard time growing up in elementary school and even most of middle school. Like I was picked on a lot. I had a lot of very, very low self-esteem on top of being an ADHD kid, right? So like there's really and back then in the 80s, there wasn't really like, my parents thought
there's no
like,
such thing as ADHD.
shrink
exactly.
telling, the school,
Came
like,
out in
we
the
think your son
90s.
has ADHD. They're like, get out of here. What are you in some kind of cult? Like, it's
Yeah.
like, so whatever. But, so
I'm
it took me-
10.
Yeah, but I
It's
had
like, I'm in a cult.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, right.
But I really didn't. I'll never forget in middle school, Mr. Boland, who was the wood shop teacher, and I was doing something, and he looked at me, he goes, dude, you need, be confident, man. Like, I don't even know what the hell I was building, but he's like, this is good, be confident, like, own it. I'll never forget that moment. But things really didn't click for me until, like, I met my core group of friends, like, in middle school, like, late 7th, early 8th grade, who are still my friends to this day and my best friends and what have you. And that's like the Chucks and the Brads and Scotts and Jebs and a bunch of other people who really I don't know, they just like, you meet people that help build you up and build confidence in you. And they look at,
exactly.
So, but I think I carried a lot of that self-doubt and a lot of that with me through even into my adult life. Cause at the end of the day, like when you feel beat down, like I've never been a person of being like, I genuinely don't care what people think of me. Like I know I'm a good person. I do right. But sometimes words will get to you, or sometimes people's feelings, or whatever.
Trust me,
it
I
beats
know.
you up, right?
Yeah.
And at some point I was just like, I just don't care. Like not that I don't care. I don't care what people think of me. Like I'm gonna do what I think is good, and if it doesn't work, great. If it does, even better. You know, and like. To Paola's
But
point,
at
like
least
her
you
friend
tried.
saying, yeah, at least you tried.
At
Like there's
least
a
you
book,
tried.
my friend Brad, this is like 10 years ago, he introduced me to a book called, I think it was called The Art of the Start. And one of the things I found really interesting is that if you attach your business to charity or doing good, even if it fails, you still did good because you still helped people along the way. And that I always kind of took that with me. And that's why like no matter what I do, I always try to help and try to contribute or do something. Like whatever we're doing, I want to be able to like,
Give
I
back
could be
in some
selling
way.
cupcakes. Maybe some of it will go towards charity, whatever the case may be. But when you do stuff like that, then you don't fail.
Yeah.
You still were able to accomplish something, and a lot of times like you're just doing stuff that people are afraid to do for whatever reason. That's not to say that like it's okay to want to be a worker bee or want to be in corporate America and
Yeah.
work that ladder or whatever.
Yeah, some people are just built that way where it's like it's just like the analogy with the shoe. Would you say when she like the slipper?
Oh,
The
yeah.
it's a
comfortable
cozy-
slip-
yeah,
it's a cozy slipper for them too. Like
Yeah.
their brain is just like, all right, I'm gonna work 40 hours a week,
Yeah.
9 to 5, and I'm gonna get this check, and it's just good to go. And
Yeah.
I Friday, Saturday, I'm
Yeah.
Sunday,
And honestly,
you know.
like, I wish I was wired that way. Life would be a lot less stressful.
It's a little more simple, yeah.
It's
It really
simple,
would
but
be.
I'm
But
not
I would be
wired that
unhappy.
way.
Yeah, I'd be
And when
unhappy
I,
too.
And when I worked in that environment, I was the most miserable person you will ever meet. I wasn't a happy person when I
Yeah.
worked in corporate America.
I know.
I didn't like it because I'm not good at like. I like to think of myself as a real person, like in meaning like I'm not like full of shit. I'm not fake, which is why I was really not good at corporate.
Yeah, yeah,
So I'm
literally.
not good at kissing people's asses.
Yeah,
to get,
yep.
Yeah,
to
we
get
don't-
ahead.
we don't
like if
play
I
the
think
game.
you're a piece
Yeah,
of shit,
exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
you're a piece
me
of shit.
either.
I don't
Yeah.
fuck, like I'm not gonna kiss your
Fire
ass
me.
to do whatever. Yeah, like whatever
You're
you gotta
human,
do, you
dude.
know?
Yeah.
But at the same
Like-
time, you have to be confident to know that you're a good person
Yeah.
and that you're like if someone doesn't like me, that's not them, dude. It's not on me, man.
Yeah.
Like I know my worth. That's
Yeah.
clearly if someone has something to say about anybody, not just me or anyone, like you have to remind yourself too, like that's that person's baggage, man.
Yeah.
Like I even catch myself, like growing up in Fairfield, like there's a lot of, or not only Fairfield but Fairfield County.
Judgmental people.
No, not even that. I'm not even saying that, but there's a lot of. It's very affluent.
Judgmental.
Judgmental.
There are judgmental people. A lot.
There's
of
judge,
them.
yeah, but my point is like
Tony
there's a lot
knows.
of.
He's from Staten
We
Island.
live in an affluent area, right?
Yeah.
So you see a lot of things like I worked hard to get the vehicle that I drive in. I can drive down the street and there's a 16-year-old ride my car, And
Literally,
sometimes I'll
yeah.
catch myself
Yeah.
being like, oh, man, like what the hell?
Yeah.
Right.
But you know what? You change your mind, and I go, good for them. Like I want people to succeed. I don't
Yeah.
good for them. I'm glad that they have. Like I
Like,
don't begrudge anybody of anything, but
It's good that dad or mom or both of them combined can afford that for
Totally.
their
Right.
kid.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's like
Exactly.
yeah.
but I
look
think
at
when
it
you
like
grow up
that.
a certain way, like when you grow up like kind of like I did, which was pretty much like middle class. My father was in the military.
Yeah.
When you're in the army, you don't make a lot of money and
Right.
stuff like that. That's fine. I had a great
Middle class is
upbringing.
weird because it's like you're like you're not here.
Yeah.
You're not like struggling so much, but it's like you're in this weird middle place where it's like, geez, like I'm not this,
Yeah.
and I'm not that. It's like, what am I? It's just it's a little weird.
It's a weird, especially when you're living in like
In Fairfield,
in Fairfield
Yeah.
County, or even like
Yeah.
on the West Coast. It's the same idea, like both coasts, right? Like
yeah,
it's a different way
gotta put in the work.
to think. But I think
Yes.
that like it's natural for people to feel whatever way. But I remind myself too, like if I'm feeling like envious or jealous of someone, I literally will stop myself and be like, why am I feeling this way? And then when you break it down, it's just like you feel like
you laugh at yourself. You're
you
like,
laugh at yourself.
Yeah,
It's like such a silly thing to get upset about because at the end of the day, like I genuinely want people to be successful, regardless whether I know them or not. Like good for you. Like people need to move forward, and that only helps our community, and that only helps people in general.
right.
'Cause we
There's
gain
enough for
nothing-
everyone.
Huh?
There's enough for everyone.
There's,
100%.
so what I say all the time when
Yeah.
we partner with people and what have you, there's enough market share in Fairfield County for everyone.
Yeah.
And if a business doesn't necessarily want to work with me, I'm going to refer you to my friend that might be a better fit for you.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's important because we genuinely mean that when we're doing what we do.
Yeah.
On my business card, it's like, how can I literally have written on it, how can I be of service to you? Because I mean it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome. This is great. So quickly, I don't even know what time are we at.
We were at 117. Entering
Not bad
the,
at all, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So, are you guys readers at all?
Readers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, do you
I
read
wish
books?
I read more nowadays, but yeah.
too.
Okay, so that's the one question we always ask. It's like, what's a book you're currently reading or a book you've read that's helped impact you?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Right?
Oh, time
So,
out.
yeah.
The clock run for a second.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Think about it. I'll give you mine. The reason why we started this is because in like the first 25 episodes, The Alchemist was coming up all the time.
Yeah.
So, and that's my favorite book. So then we were like, why don't we ask that every time at the end of the show? So,
Yeah.
do you guys have an answer?
All right. So like, I used to read a lot before like the iPhone took
Right.
over, and the iPhone kind of wired myself like at bed. I'm constantly scrolling, and I
Yeah.
hate that because I used to literally read like a couple books a
ton.
month. I love reading. I
Yeah.
love, even if it's just kind of like dumb shit, just to kind of take you out of like your current reality or whatever. So I end up getting a Kindle Paperwhite or whatever they call it. So
Yeah.
it's just literally books. There's no apps on it. You can't go on Facebook. Or
Yeah, yeah,
Instagram.
yeah.
It's just reading. So I'm reading like I think 3 or 4 books at the same time right now.
He said, "Oh."
Whoa. I said, whoa.
Well, yeah, but I'm not
Yeah.
I'm like, it's like I'll take a break from one because some are
Yeah.
a little bit heavier than others.
Yeah.
Like I'm reading a book right now that I don't even know how I downloaded. But I was like,
just
it would be
appeared.
kind of be fun to read it. Like I don't know
Yeah.
why I downloaded it, but like let's just read it, you know?
Right.
But that one's a little bit dark, so I won't tell you about that. But I did read a couple months ago. I read a book called Extreme Leadership. I don't know if you guys follow Jocko on Instagram.
Yeah, of course.
So,
Well, I don't follow him, but I know who he is.
He is, yeah. Him and I forget the other dude that he wrote the book with, just about extreme leadership. It's about leading by example.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like one that I really enjoyed reading because it's all about just as a leader taking accountability for your team, for your actions, for whatever happens, instead of blaming other people, right? Which tends to be like from working in corporate America, like that's like middle management. That's like they love to do that, right?
Right.
The numbers aren't getting hits because clearly the reps aren't doing something right.
Yeah.
Whereas like, in this book, like he talks about like, obviously his is more about being a Navy SEAL and being in war and, some pretty atrocious stuff happening that he had to take accountability for because he believed he failed as a leader. Like, what did I do wrong and why did this happen? But he now has like his business where he applies those same ideas to like business, Paola and I had a thing where she like texted me, she's like, oh, I forgot that something happened A, B, and C. And she thought I was like mad at her. And I told her, I'm like, dude, like, no, I'm mad. I'm the one who fucked up on this one. I should have been on top of that. Like, I should have been the one who whatever. So I love the word accountability. I think it's a very important word because the best leaders I ever had were the ones who took ownership of everything. And I think that's important. Even when I used to manage restaurants, like I would be taking garbage bags out to the dump at 1 o'clock in the morning with the bar backs or the busboys or whatever, because why should they do that on their own? I'm not doing shit. Like,
Right.
Let's help each other and what have you. So those are just really important things I think about, being, it's a good book if you want to talk about being,
No, I love it.
like an unconditional leader.
Yeah, no, it's dope. And he's so passionate and speaks
He's
just
a
from his
maniac, dude.
heart. I mean,
Like,
Yeah.
good
It's
God,
crazy.
that guy, yeah, he does speak from his heart.
does.
And he's obviously an intense guy. But
I've seen him on an interview with London Real. It's really good. Just check it out on YouTube. It's real. London Real is they have a great channel, a YouTube channel, but the interview is really well done. It's
cool.
dope. I'll send you we'll send you the link
please.
after. What about you?
So it's so funny. Like Chris's like realm, like his books are so different from what I read.
It's fine.
It's just funny. I remember there is one book in particular, but it's funny. I remember there's been a few books that have literally stuck. I've had I have experiences with books. I feel like, and I feel like I remember Life in the Time of Cholera. I remember like finishing the book and literally it took my breath away. Like literally, I ended the book. I was like, like that was amazing. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I like get into my reading.
Yeah.
But there is one book that, as of most recently, I want to say like in the last couple of years or
Yeah.
whatever, The Art of Asking.
is that the one your brother bought you?
Yeah, my brother bought it for me randomly. But it's by Amanda Palmer. She's actually wife to Neil Gaiman, who I also love. I love Neil Gaiman's stuff. I love.
Who's Neil Gaiman for the people that, like Tony, who doesn't know who that is?
Me too.
I'm just throwing Tony under the bus because
I don't know.
Yeah, no.
I have no
Do you know
clue.
Neil?
I'm just
Again,
messing
another constant on this show. I get thrown under the bus.
No, I don't want to say anything, but Mike's kind of he starts the trend right when we start.
Oh, pushing.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Taking
Tony,
on you?
I deal with him by himself, and I know.
You know when to look over and be like, what? What's he
Yeah.
gonna think?
I know.
It's a good chemistry.
But
I
it's
love it.
true. Like,
It's so organic.
but this is what I mean with like the type of stuff that I read. Like I read like The Hobbit. I read, American
Yeah, and then you
Gods.
also
like Neil
read-
Gaiman
So
wrote
sci-fi,
American Gods.
fantasy
A little
realm.
more sci-fi because I realized it triggered something like magical in my
Yeah.
brain. I love imagining things. If there's
Yeah.
a book that's been made into a movie, I have to read the book first because I want my brain to imagine it first.
Right.
Right. So that's how I really got into that. And for a while there, I had stopped reading, and actually Stephen King got me back into reading again
Love
because
Stephen
he had the Dark Tower series, and he was in the middle of writing like the last book in the series. I think he hadn't touched it in like 30 years or something ridiculous. And I actually went to a book signing and I actually met him and the illustrator or whatever.
Wow.
And it's just so funny. He's such a gentle dude, like such a gentle guy,
Yeah.
and very unassuming, and like these magical things that come out of his brain.
Right.
It just like it blows my mind. So that's why I kind of know him, Neil Gaiman, and whatever. And then my brother gave me this book, The Art of Asking, that Neil Gaiman's wife, Amanda Palmer, wrote. And she's a musician, an artist. And it really spoke to me, potentially because of like who she is and how she is. But I have never been good at asking. I've never, and in the sense of asking for help, asking for other people to do things for me or anything like that. I'm not good at it. I'm still working on it, but that book did change my life because it really opened me up to this notion that I always try to do things on my own. If I can take a burden off someone's shoulders, I'll take it. And I don't want you to struggle with what you're doing. Let me just whatever. And I'll internalize the stress and I'll internalize everything else. I'll handle it, and I'll try not to have and it's nice.
Yeah.
But it's to a fault, to
Right.
the point where like it was not healthy for me to be doing that. So reading that book really helped me, like even a simple asking my husband to help me with things, or opening up to him about certain things that were whatever stressing me on like in the back of my mind. So if anyone feels that that's what they're going through and feels like either they don't have help or they think they don't have help or whatever it is, like this book was really interesting. Like the way Amanda leads her life is not the same way I lead my life, but it's irrelevant. It's just understanding that as humans, as people, we need each other. Like I use the term, it takes a village all the time. And it's in every aspect to me, right, of life. Like as a mother, as a wife, like I feel like as a friend, like I feel like we need each other as people to get through things in our lives. And I don't care if it's a personal thing, a business thing. If I need someone, I'm learning to reach out and depend on others,
Right.
whether it's for their positive energy or for like literal help, assistance, hands-on.
Yeah.
I'm not as scared to ask for help anymore. And I think
Awesome.
it's super important, I don't want people to feel alone or
Yeah,
whatever, you
right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's also, think about it on the other end too, like people want to help you. There's people out there that want to help you who are just waiting or might be reaching out and you're not even noticing.
Right.
And that's going to fulfill them too. So I feel like we all work together in such a deeper way in this world.
I mean, even from a sales perspective, like that's kind of one
I
of
love
the
how I'm
first
getting
things.
deep and he goes into sales.
No,
This
but
is
one
what
of
I
the-
mean. We're so different.
But one of the things that you learn early on when you start getting into sales is that people want to help. And what I mean by that is like, if you call up a company and like the receptionist answers, right? Like a lot of salespeople would be like, they don't treat her with respect. Whereas if you talk to the receptionist and you say like, because I've called and be like, hey, oh, are you the person who handles A, B, and C? Like this is in my previous lives. Oh no, I'm just the receptionist. In my mind, I literally say like, no, you're not just the receptionist. You hold this down. Like, absolutely, I want to talk to you. This is what I'm looking for. How
Right.
can you help me? And people genuinely want to help. I mean,
Yeah.
I would argue probably 99% of people do want to help people. Like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
but I think that like we live in like, especially now, we like live in kind of these such polarizing times that people are afraid to ask for help. People are afraid to look people in the eye and just connect with people.
Yeah.
That's like one of the things that's like really important.
or they're
for
afraid
us.
to lose
Like,
what
we
they
let-
have. Like that
Yeah,
right?
like saying connect, like with Debbie with Connect Fairfield, like that's why we have a great relationship with her as well. Her goal too is to connect people. And
Yeah.
that's what we want to accomplish, like you guys want to accomplish.
Yeah.
And we're all just using different mediums to do it.
Right.
Exactly.
I know.
cool.
It's dope. That's why we started this show, honestly, as a part of it and to like just learn. But the last thing I'm going to ask you guys is, what is something you tell like a younger you?
That's a good question.
Oh, God.
Never eat the buffet at a strip club. No.
Sound advice. Very sound.
That's disgusting.
Honestly, listen to the older people who are giving you advice, man. Because when especially like, I'll go back to Naughty Dolphin when I was working, and we worked with a lot of guys, older guys, when back then this was in the late '90s, early 2000s. But like they'd always give you advice, and you're like, yeah, whatever. I'm young. Everything's
Yeah.
Now as an adult, you're like, fuck, I really should have saved my money, or I really should have invested in this and invested
Yeah.
in that.
Yeah.
So I think it would be definitely like listen to people, realize that life isn't as when you're young, you feel like you're indestructible, right?
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
You know
and you think
everything.
like you have all the time in the world, and
I
then you
know.
become an adult and you're like, oh wait, I don't actually have time because
No.
you might get married, you have children, you have a job, you have all these things. But prepare for the future, man.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important, is to prepare for the future.
Love it.
For me, it's believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's okay to be who you are. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to whatever, but just believe in who you are.
I love it.
Just
And I
get
also
in
like
touch
no,
with
but
that.
like I think all of us think too, like, right? We're like, everyone, you care what people think. Like everything you do, like, what will this person think? Or if I do this or that, and it's
Will
like,
I
when
be
you,
as successful?
will I be
Will
as
da, da, da,
successful?
da,
But
da.
not
It's
even
like,
that, like,
no, but
when you're
part
a
of
kid,
it,
other
yeah.
but
people's
like think about when you're in
Yeah.
high school or even college. Like, let's say that, just to like as layman's as I can get, like you hook up with someone, and you're like, fuck. Like you wait, the next day
Yeah.
you wake up, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh god, whatever. Like in reality, it's like no one fucking cares.
Yeah.
Does it really
And,
matter?
and anyone who does care, again, that shit's on them, dude.
Yeah.
Like, or
Losers.
fuck off, but that
Yeah.
shit's on them, man. That,
Yeah.
Like, and you have, like, if I could remember that, like, anytime anyone has been whatever towards me, you have to remind yourself, like, that is on them, man. They are dealing with some inner shit.
Yeah.
And
that-
they're reflecting it on
They're
you.
reflecting
Yeah.
it.
Right,
They're
exactly.
or projecting it on
Can
you.
I go back to the book thing really quickly?
Yeah.
Because this is
Yeah.
something that's really, like, important to me.
Yeah.
There is a guy named Jonathan Mooney. He's from California.
Oh, yes.
And can I take these off?
Yeah, of course.
So he is a sorry, Tony, I think I whacked the thing.
No, it's
he
all right.
It's totally
is an advocate. He's an advocate for people, not even kids, but specifically kids with disabilities. And he's an amazing human being who, if you ever get a chance, if you look up Jonathan Mooney Goldcast, he has a Goldcast. That's how I found him. Our son has severe ADHD. He's got special needs. It's challenging with ADHD. And
He's brilliant.
He's a real. My son's a really
Yeah, I
smart
met
kid.
him. He's
yeah,
he's
But-
cool too.
So
He's a
Jonathan
gamer,
like
Tony.
grew up he grew up very similar. He has a really incredible story. So I found him and I read a bunch of his a couple of his books, and it's really just about his entire life has been dedicated to advocating for people who have disabilities. And
Awesome.
and his whole thought process is that like there's no such thing as normal. Like we're all,
Yeah.
we're all fucked up one way or another. There,
Right.
no
And
one
there's
is perfect.
There's no such thing as disabilities, truly.
There's
But
no such
there's
thing.
differences.
There's differences.
Differences.
Yeah.
And he had an interesting thing where he had ADHD. He was dyslexic. I don't think he could read until he was like in 9th grade or something. Like
12th. I think.
Or
I
12th
remember there
or
was
something,
something
yeah.
about 12th.
But he had a
grade,
point
but anyway.
where he literally like he was very young. He was like 12 or 13 or something like that.
That's it.
And I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
But he could have gone left or he could have gone right.
Right.
And one was a very dark way of going, and the other one was like he was like, all right, I'm either going to do this or I'm just going to be. He literally says, I'm going to be a dumb jock. I'm going to be good at sports, and that's going to be my thing. So he wound up going to on a scholarship to I think Marymount University, and he has a story about he was on a soccer scholarship, and he's going around to all the different departments, and he fell in love with the English department.
English department.
And it was a Jesuit school, of course. So he goes to the dean of students and he says to him like, yeah, I'm going to get my, how's he say? I'm going to get my English on or something like
Yeah,
that.
right,
Like, I'm gonna
like,
be,
that
he's
was
a really
gonna be
funny
his
dude.
major.
He's like,
Yeah.
I want to major in English. And the guy looks at his file and his IEP, which anyone who doesn't know, the IEP is like basically, it's a, I don't know how you call it. Like it's just the records of your disabilities and support and all that other stuff. And he goes, yeah, maybe you should stick to like liberal arts or something. You're not cut out to be,
A writer.
an English or a writer or
Yeah.
whatever. So he goes back to the head of the English department, who was a Jesuit priest, and he says to him, so and so, the dean of students says that I'm not cut out to be a writer or whatever. And he says like, this Jesuit priest looks at me and he goes, well, I guess you're just gonna have to prove the bastard wrong. And he goes on to say how that person now has like 3 of his books on his desk at Marymount
wow.
University.
Signed.
That's funny.
And Jonathan went on to go to Brown University, which is an Ivy League school. I
Yeah.
mean, it's definitely one of the more like, I would say creative or think out of the box Ivy League schools.
Yeah.
Not your
Yeah.
traditional or whatever.
Right.
But he spent the rest of his life just advocating for
Advocating.
people who, whether it's ADHD, whether you're autistic, whether you're handicapped or whatever, he literally has dedicated his life to changing perceptions of people.
Right.
And like Paola said, just because you have a disability doesn't make you deficient, right? Or-
Doesn't make. That's exactly what he says. Doesn't
Yeah.
make you deficient.
Yeah.
It's just a difference.
And-
we all learn differently. We all go
Yeah.
go
But
about our
Yeah.
way differently.
biggest thing I took away
It's
from
true.
this is find out what you're good at and perfect it, and then find someone to help you for the stuff that you're not good at. So in
Right.
his situation, he's a fantastic writer. He's very good at telling stories. Horrible at spelling, grammar, and all that. And he's like, that's why I have my
like
wife.
punctuation and stuff.
Literally,
Yeah,
that's why
the editing and stuff.
like,
yeah,
I have a lot to say, and I do believe I'm very good at telling stories, and you know, I love doing that. But like I get caught with the thing is like I know I suck at spelling, I know I'm terrible at grammar, I know that I could have run-on sentences, and that's the shit that bogs me down when I'm writing or doing whatever, because I'm like someone's gonna look at it and be like, well, you didn't say, you know. Or if
Yeah.
you're typing something and it defaults, just something simple as if you're typing and it defaults to your as YOU.
Right,
or
right,
versus,
right.
You know, YOU apostrophe RE, like, and someone's going, well, it's like people don't realize. I think like who cares? But right, but when you're a young person or you're someone who has who doesn't have not really think well of themselves, when you say something like that to somebody,
Yeah,
kind of like
it's hurting. It's gonna hurt them.
Well, but it's like, what do you gain by putting someone down, right? And again, it goes back to the newspaper. Like we just want to bring people up.
Yeah,
And when you do something, when you attack someone or you're criticizing someone, you know, what are you trying to accomplish? Like I don't know if you've ever read any of Dale Carnegie books.
I haven't read all of them
Okay,
at
so
all,
he's
obviously,
speaking
but
of books.
yeah,
Like, and I hope I'm
I've
not,
heard his
I hope
stuff.
I'm not interrupting your time, guys.
No,
But
he's
I-
been
all
on.
day.
If anyone doesn't read YouTube him because he's got a lot
Yeah,
of
so Dale Carnegie has his most famous book,
audio
which is,
books.
I'm going to butcher the title of the book, but it's something like how to
win friends and
Alienate people.
Alienate
No.
people.
no,
no.
just the opposite.
How to win friends and
Influence
how to
people.
influence people.
Yeah, and if you go into his book, he says a lot. And again, this guy wrote this book in like what 1930
Yeah,
or something,
yeah.
very long time ago.
Yeah.
But he has a story about like where he like if you're he had a manager that was working in like a factory, and the guy would never wear his helmet, right? And the manager would just demean him, like you're an idiot. Why don't you wear the helmet or whatever? And again, I'm paraphrasing, but you know, in Dale's thought process is like, why don't like instead of doing that and making the guy feel like complete shit, find out why he's not wearing his helmet. Or, hey, if you don't mind wearing your helmet because of A, B, and C. And that's just kind of like a small
Sample
outlook
size.
on it.
Yeah,
But that's a book I read early on in my sales career that I've always taken with me, even as a leader, as a manager, or just someone who manages clients or whatever. You gain nothing by belittling someone or making them feel like shit, right? And I think like a lot of all these books have in common is it's really about bringing people up and understanding like why. And not to say that I'm not a critical person, because I'm sure I have been, I can be, and what have you. But these are the types of things that I always keep in the back of my brain to keep me grounded, because we don't really know how our actions could impact someone. And I think Maya D'Angelo said like, it's not what you say to people, it's how you make them feel that they'll remember you by. Again, I'm definitely butchering that quote.
No, but yeah,
that's a really
true.
important thing to think
Yeah.
about. And I think about that every time I have an interaction with a person. When I walk away from that person, are they going to be like, wow, that guy like is really cool. Like, I'm glad that whatever. Or is it going to be like, that guy's just a dick, man. And I've walked away from people being like, wow, that motherfucker's a real asshole. And like, I don't ever want to be that person.
Yeah.
I want to be the person that's like, wow, he made me feel good about myself, or made me feel like I could accomplish something.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's kind of our purpose on this earth too.
That we have things to learn from each other.
Right.
You know,
do.
we do have things to learn from each other. We all have something to contribute, and like we don't ever want to feel like we're placing ourselves, you know, in a position where we're right. You know, listen to us. We're right.
Yeah.
My opinion is what matters. If you don't agree with me,
Yeah.
that's
Sorry.
not
I think-
like, oh,
I
like
think
you
the-
got some stuff
yeah.
to learn.
I
Whatever.
think the essence of the newspaper too, of like
Yeah.
what is also is that we just like right now when people think of media, they think of negativity. They think of things being. I use the word
Well, that's
polarizing a lot,
right.
right? But it's all polarizing. People want to avoid that stuff. And with during COVID and everything, you know, one of the things that like I thought about having the physical piece of the newspaper is like I got sick of looking at a computer. I was on it literally 24/7 because we weren't
Yeah.
leaving our house. And I was really trying to think about like how could we connect people back to kind of like back to basics, right?
Yeah.
Like reading, and like, you know, people, believe it or not, love reading books. Even though I have like a Kindle myself,
Yeah.
I love the smell of books. Like if I have a book on my Kindle, I'll own the book as well because I like having both options
Right.
or whatever. But
Writing in the book.
yeah, you know, but it's just like
there's
about
something about it.
but it's
Yeah.
about
the feel, the smell.
it's just about connecting people and bringing people up. And right now we live in a society where people are bringing everyone down. Like it's
Right.
literally part of like if you have an interaction with a person that does not agree with you, your instinct isn't to empathize. I mean, mine is, but for most people, it's to challenge them and then butt heads and fight on who's right or who's wrong. Where the reality is, we all want the same thing, dude. Everyone wants the same thing. We all have different ways of getting there.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about my newspaper or our newspaper is that everything in that newspaper, whether you fall on the right or the left or up or you're down, everyone likes food. Everyone loves to learn about culture. Everyone loves to learn about music and about all these things, you know, like what did Jordan say when they asked him about like, why don't you ever comment on politics or social issues? And he was like, Republicans buy sneakers and so do Democrats.
Yeah.
You know, and it's true. You know, everything doesn't have to be about whose side you're on. I have a lot of friends where we don't agree in terms of politics and stuff like that, but we empathize with each other and we learn.
And you listen to
And
each
you
other.
listen to each
Yeah.
other. Yeah. You know, because we don't want to, like, you don't want to be in an echo chamber either. The only way that you grow is by learning the people with differences and understanding their.
Right.
I don't know, I just went on a crazy.
Perspective.
No, because if you
but-
don't, but no, it's true because if you don't, then you're just gonna stay the same. You might, people. That's why there's people that still live like they're in 1922
Yeah.
mentality, and they're
Totally.
like 40 because their father passed down to them and passed down to them. And it's
Yeah.
like they never got out of that box. So
I just was
Exactly.
listening to a podcast where they said that trauma can go down 7 generations. So you can carry trauma from like
Yeah.
generationally and not even know about it.
yeah,
Really?
generational
Yeah.
curses, folks.
Yeah,
It's
dude,
true.
I was listening to a podcast where they were there's this new treatment in Mexico. It's kind of like ayahuasca, but I can't remember the name of
Right.
of the plant that they're taking. But it's getting people off of like it's dealing with like a lot of like military people who have PTSD and other people who have like obviously not like civilian PTSD, however you want to call it.
Yeah.
But also like
Maybe they had traumatic
heroin addicts and all this
experience.
stuff, and they're doing this thing where they I don't even like they flush your brain out. Like your brain gets, and I'm probably saying this wrong, but the guy was saying like it was such an interesting podcast. With every kind of trauma that you experience, it like scars your brain or something, and whatever this does, it completely wipes out your wipes it all out. So alcoholics that go there and do this, they're like the guy that I was listening to had been drinking from 2015 every single day until 2 months ago,
Jesus,
and he did this process.
that's a lot of
And
alcohol.
he no longer has a desire for alcohol. He no longer has a desire for any like. He's a completely new person. He still
Wow.
has all the knowledge that he gained
Yeah.
through his
Life.
40 years
Yeah.
of life, but all of the bad stuff is gone.
Wow.
And it's like it was obviously not approved in the states.
Yeah, obviously.
for various reasons, probably because they couldn't find a way to profit off of it.
Yeah, you literally.
But, you know,
it's like this is
it's-
50 cents.
Yeah, but this guy, they were exactly. But they were
Cure
saying,
everything.
Like, they were going into it because the guy was like experiencing stuff. Like he's like, I don't recognize this. Like, what it like? And the one of the psychologists or whoever was there, like, it's very much like it's not like you're in a hut and they're like,
Yeah,
let's just stick
yeah.
some IVs to the guy. Like there's there's
There's
doctors.
doctors.
Kind of,
and all
yeah,
this
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But they said like you have generational trauma.
Yeah, I
and
believe
it.
it.
Can go as far as like 7 generations.
That's insane.
I
It
know.
was such an interesting thing.
It's
like,
crazy.
Yeah.
Think about that, and no one really knows about that. That's it. It's crazy. There's
But
a
we
lot
also
of things
live
like
now
that.
where like it's okay to like talk about like your feelings, right?
Yeah.
Like it's okay to talk about that you're in therapy or you do this or
Yeah.
you do that. Where a long time ago it was like definitely frowned upon.
Yeah, like you're soft.
You're soft, exactly, and it's like no, you're not soft. You're just it's okay. We all
You're
have
actually
our-
soft if you
gotta
don't
do.
talk about your feelings.
right? Yeah, no, really. It's like,
Talk about my feelings all day.
I will cry on this show. Right?
Yeah, literally. I think everyone was going to, and you were talking about you not being there for your son, and I was like, we can't do this.
I
don't
know.
wanna cry
but
right
she
now.
was obviously there for Angela.
Yeah,
but
of
she-
course.
There.
And
It's just
it
like
meant- she
when,
sac-
when
I know.
you think
At the end of
about
the day, you sacrificed.
Yeah.
You know, I had a different, but your sacrifice was a lot bigger than my sacrifice, and it's good to recognize that and own it.
Yeah.
You know.
And where can people find you guys?
Oh yeah.
dun, dun, dun. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook.
In a
Literally
Fairfield
What's your-
at
yeah, there
In
you
a
go.
Fairfield Minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
At In a
Website
Fairfield Minute.
inafairfieldminute.com.
People can reach out.
Keep
say
reaching
what
Reach
up.
out. Yeah, hit us up.
We love hearing from you guys, so please,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we love it. Like
Yeah.
interact with
we
our
get
posts.
a couple,
message
like 2 or
us.
3 inquiries a day from people who just have like story ideas or stuff
I
like
love
that.
that.
So
Cool.
keep them coming because we just wanna
Yeah.
we want to be able to put those stories out there and
Celebrate them.
And
celebrate
them,
you.
too.
Celebrate people you know.
we're gonna
things
start
people are
doing some
doing.
other stuff too. Like we're gonna start having like meet a police officer, firefighter, town employees, stuff like that to kind of put a face with a name. A
Right.
lot of people who serve
Yeah.
the community, not only do they serve, I say this all the time, not only do they serve the community, but they're also a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And we really,
can't
again,
lose sight of that.
it's kind of part of where I want to build a bridge as opposed to blowing it up. So
Love it.
that's kind of part of our mission as well, too.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Woohoo!
Guys, this was awesome.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Yeah, of
I'm
course.
sure
Blast.
I hope we didn't bore you to death.
No.
I had a lot sometimes.
Lots of talking and jumping around.
No, it's fine. This is honestly why we do it. I like when it's like that. And that's why
Likewise.
this show is one of
Yeah.
my favorites, honestly. I hate like scripted and boring and just
I'm
like
terrible at
just go with the
scripted
flow.
stuff. I'm a robot.
Yeah. It's like so yeah. But yeah, so we hope you guys enjoy that episode. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We love you guys and we will see you guys next time.
Peace.
Peace.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.